right, welcome into the Ryan Ripken Show. Happy Monday, and we're back. We are back, but the boys did a great job while I was out of town. And guys, welcome into the Ryan Ripken Show. So we got a lot to talk about. Obviously, the Ravens were back playing on Sunday, got a dub. Everyone's feeling good, but that's not the only news around the Ravens. It never is, Zach. There is some reports. We'll talk about that. And it's not just the Deontay Johnson situation. There was a situation out in San Francisco on Thursday that I think we need to discuss a little bit further. We are going to talk about one baseball news today, and it's around Corbin Burnes. We've been asked about it a lot. We are going to talk about it on our Hot Stove Happy Hour on Wednesday. But John Morosi has a new lead, or who he thinks the favorite, and I think is the favorite to land Corbin Burnes. We'll discuss that. Then we'll look ahead at kind of what could be for Baltimore, what could be for another team in the AFC. And we're actually at the point of the season where we can have an MVP conversation. But is the MVP locked up? A couple of big names out there believe it is, but there is one that doesn't believe that. And I think Zach and I are in that same boat. We'll go around the league, and then we will have our call-ins. Maybe a wild Nick Moore is going to join us here. He's running around trying to get his self together. But, hey, right now, behind the sticks, behind the camera, Zach Bollinger. How we doing? Happy Monday, my friend.
Happy Monday. Got my Marshall University stuff on. National championship tonight. Marshall Thundering Herd versus Vermont. Catamounts, I think we decided was yesterday.
Yeah, I heard that. It was a good debate.
Yeah, Catamounts. So Herd, 8 o'clock, going for national championship. Day after Rasheen Ali gets his first NFL touches, how could you not be romantic about it? I mean,
how could you not be romantic about the Thundering Herd?
Exactly.
And you know what? Talking about issues, the only issue with the Thundering Herd was, the whole bowl situation where
it's
that wasn't good.
Transfer portal is getting out of hand. I mean, we've even seen stuff where Penn State's backup quarterback, don't know if you saw this, but Penn State is in the college football playoff.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it was 2 days ago, he had to announce that after a very difficult decision, he's leaving the team and will not be a part of the college football playoff run because he said he has to go see if he has opportunities elsewhere, and he can't wait because then those opportunities fill up. So they got to figure something out with the transfer portal. I think they will, just because sadly, what they got, we knew it was going to be a process, but what they got going now, it feels like every team just had everyone leave. So it's a tough scene.
It is. And that's just the way that college sports is in general now. The transfer portal specifically for football. I mean, hell, Bill Belichick, when people are going, it's crazy, he's going back, it's so different. Well, actually, this would be the most similar it could be to the NFL. You hired a general manager of your football team now. We saw it with Andrew Luck. It's Michael Lombardi with UNC. So now you're just trying to recruit players, and then you pay them to come play. That sounds a lot like the NFL level. The only difference is, can you get enough recruits there? Are you able to build a program with amateur players still? They are not professionals. They're not NFL caliber players. Can you coach them up to make yourself into a team that's desirable to be there in the future? Ollie, I swear, you eat that golf ball. Ollie, come here. Ollie's in the studio. Zach, he was a little bit upset that I left him for the weekend, but we're back.
Yeah. Also, real fast, some breaking news. Dan Campbell just confirmed that David Montgomery will have surgery and will be out for the season for the Detroit Lions. That is a massive. I feel horrible for the Lions because it just talk about a team that all the talent in the world, injuries, unfortunately, may end up derailing their season that I think a lot of people saw potentially ending in a Lombardi. Still could, obviously. A lot still on the table. They have very talented players, but that defense is taking a beating. Obviously, you lose guys like Aiden Hutchinson and them. They just lost McNeil last night. And now Montgomery. Unfortunately for the Lions, the injury bug is striking, and that's not great if you are a Detroit Lions fan, especially one who kind of was hoping to see the Lions maybe hoist the Lombardi for the first time ever come February.
Yeah, if it wasn't going to be the Ravens, it felt like everybody, especially in the Baltimore region, like you were rooting for the Lions, man. Dan Campbell, the energy, the aura, the persona, and the cast-offs that they had. Jared Goff, people didn't think he was going to have the resurgence. They build their team from the ground up. And like Amon-Ra St. Brown's one of the best receivers in the game. He was a later round pick. You see the development, and then you see guys buy into a culture. I freaking love that type of stuff. But the Ravens fans remember this a few years ago when injuries add up. It can affect your team. The Lions alone on the defensive side, Zach, have 16 players.
Yeah.
On the injured reserve.
And it's gonna
get worse.
Yeah, because McNeil's getting added to it too. After they just actually signed McNeil and Montgomery to extensions in October, and both are now out with season-ending injuries. So really feel for the Lions yesterday. Literally injury to insult after that loss.
Literally was hell of a game, by the way. We'll get into that a little bit later here. Why don't we then? Do we do our baseball news first?
Yeah,
and
I think
we talk
some baseball. Yeah,
we'll go a little baseball. So we are going to do our happy hour hot stove on Wednesday, 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern time. We will put up the episode on Spotify, Apple, and it'll be up here on YouTube. That's solely an hour where we're going to talk all baseball news, what could happen. But I think, Zach, we wanted to talk about this today because there's a chance that this news might be done by the time we air on Wednesday, and it's around Corbin Burnes. And we understand here in Baltimore, a lot of people are wondering what is taking so long. Why aren't the Orioles making that deal? Go ahead and make that deal. Give them the money. Well, I have a different opinion on that. You guys who watch the show know how I feel. But let's actually hear from John Morosi here, Zach, where he talks about who he thinks is the favorite right now to land Corbin Burnes. Let's play that clip for you guys.
I feel like, JP, we've been talking about the same 6 major names. I had Corbin Burnes at the top of that list. Is the link to San Francisco real? Because it seems to be, and are they nearing anything?
The link is real. There is no deal close, Lauren, at this hour from what we can gather. But the Giants are viewed by many as one of the front runners and perhaps the front runner to sign Corbin Burnes. Remember, Corbin Burnes, of course, pitched in the Bay Area in college. He makes his home in Arizona now, so close to home. If he ends up signing in the National League West, that would be an ideal fit, I think, from a personal family perspective among the available options for him. We know this, Burnes and his representation likely trying to go beyond the deal that Max Fried was able to sign in New York. And so that means that it would be a deal in excess of $200 million. And the Giants, with Buster Posey now as the president of baseball operations, they are in the market for big-time free agents. They've already signed Willy Adames, and it would not surprise anybody, Lauren, in the industry if they eventually sign Corbin Burnes.
I know.
So right there, you're hearing John Morosi, who's a friend of the Ryan Ripken Show. If you guys want to go back and watch our sit down with John, had him on at the winter meetings in Dallas last week. But John's saying he thinks the favorite's San Francisco. You know, no deal's done yet, but he feels like it would be. And Zach, you and I have talked about this.
Yeah.
I've been hammering the desk here. It's not that I want this to be true, but we're looking at a situation. And I think I even asked you, I knew the answer to it already. And John even mentioned it. Where'd Corbin Burnes go to college, Zach?
Yeah, out in California.
Out in California. He lives in Arizona. If the Diamondbacks offered him that mega deal, which they're not going to, he would be an Arizona Diamondback. So I think that the Orioles are trying to make a good deal for him. But when you look at what's happening with San Francisco, they just spent a lot. And it's more than just, hey, give a free agent money. Some players just want the money, Zach. There's no doubt about it. But for Corbin Burnes, there's more than that to that than just him getting the bag. Yeah. It's going to a place where he sees his future, his family's future moving forward. So I think if it's the team out west that's the only team, I think the Giants are going to land him.
Yeah, and I know Oriole fans are not going to be the happiest because I believe he also ends up in San Francisco. We've said it for a while. My biggest thing is thank your lucky stars that if he does go to San Francisco, that he's not pitching in Boston. He's not pitching in New York. He's not pitching in Toronto, where you'd probably be seeing him 2 to 3 times a year. We've talked about before. It's not always the money. It's what makes sense for the person, for the human. And everything points to if they make the around the best deal, I think they will give him the best offer. But if they make around the best deal, I think San Francisco is where he ends up. Also, just a side note, Buster Posey in the Willie Adames press conference looks like he could still catch 150 games behind the plate. It is the weirdest thing seeing him as the general manager or president of baseball operations doing the introductions. And I'm like, you literally could probably be catching and batting fifth for the Giants and be productive.
I wonder if that's in the deal now. Hey, Corbin, if you...
I'll be the catcher for you. I'll be your personal catcher.
And I will call the game.
Yeah.
That's it. And Buster, by the way, obviously one of the best players that we've seen, best catchers that we've seen. He has an idea about winning. He was a part of some championship teams out there with Bruce Bochy at the helm. And they're going to want to spend, and they're going to have to spend in the National League to keep up with the Dodgers. And I'd say the Padres, they're in a weird position, but still a really good team.
Very
Arizona, I think, will be back in this hunt, even though they have to make some decisions. But I just want people to know that it would sting more if Corbin goes to Boston or New York, no doubt about that, or Toronto, because you're sitting there going, well, damn, he chose those teams instead of coming back to Baltimore. For that, I'd say you'd be mad. But I really do believe he's going to go out west because there's more to him than just signing that amount. And we're talking about the dollar amount. If Max Fried got 218, Zach, I think Corbin's pushing to 250.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part. And Scott Boras, you see that quote that Scott Boras had today about the Orioles, and people have heard the quote, and Rock Kabatko and a ton of other reporters put it out there what Scott Boras's quote was, and I'll paraphrase this. Scott Boras was saying that the new Orioles ownership has made it very clear that things are different than they've been in the past, and they are very focused on retaining and extending players that they drafted and developed. So you guys want to do the math on who are those players? We're talking about Gunnar Henderson. We're talking about Jackson Holiday. And I'm not saying you got to pick, but if we're talking about looking at your future, Zach, 22-year-olds, 21-year-olds, give me those guys and wanting them to stay in Baltimore over a guy that doesn't have connections and is going to be entering his 30s, and love Corbin Burnes. It's not a Corbin Burnes thing, but I think we're on that same page. I think there's a little bit more to that of them being an Oriole for life than a guy that's coming in at a crossroads with no attachment to the city.
Yeah, because you don't have to sell anything to these guys. You don't have to bring them in those 3-hour, 4-hour interviews, when you're having the negotiations, you don't have to sit down and be like, hey, this is this, and this is why you should come to Baltimore. These guys understand, they live it. They are a part of it every single day, every single game. They've seen what they've put into this team. They've been there from the start to where they are now, from when it was 100 losses and they were all getting drafted to now they've talked about, and these guys have talked about in interviews where in the minors, they had the conversations together of going out there and winning a championship together in Baltimore, bringing Baltimore baseball back to the top. So they've had that mindset. That's something that they've wanted to do. It's easier to pitch something to a guy like that who's been there, been a part of it, than it is for, a Max Fried. You're going in there and going, hey, you can be a part of this. And then you're trying to sell him on Baltimore instead of guys who have been here. And they just more looking for, okay, you want me here. You're meeting my asking price. Let's get it done.
Yeah. And also, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. It's the Ryan Ripken Show. We're live on Mondays and Thursdays. And then we have our happy hour hot stove on Wednesday nights as well. We're live when the Ravens are playing pregame. So we have different forms of entertainment. But for right now, and when baseball gets going, you're going to have a lot of baseball conversations. Just football time. But we wanted to touch on this one. And to close this out, I see some points here. And Flynn, and I appreciate the comment. I wonder if Adley is in talks with Corbin at all. That catcher-pitcher relationship, if anyone could make the sell to him on our team, it'd be from him, from the Orioles. I don't know about the relationship. I'll just say to this, Flynn, if Corbin wasn't in Baltimore the year before, I think you're going to need people to sell Corbin Burnes on staying. But the reality is he was here. He was in Baltimore. Juan Soto was in New York. You don't have to – there's nothing that Juan has to be sold on with the Yankees. He has an idea going into free agency, what the Yankees are, who they're about. It's only for me when a guy's not with the team of, hey, why should you come here? Corbin has his answer on that debate. I don't think it has anything to do with that either. I think, completely honest, it's looking at what does the future look like for him, his family, and what he sees. If he takes a shorter contract, Zach, and I saw that other comment about from Josiah, saying that Rosenthal tweeted that he might be looking for a higher AAV value, average annual value salary. I still don't see it being Baltimore. It's even more pushing to San Francisco. So we'll see on that. And I think we'll save it for a different time, Zach, if you want a closing remark. Yeah. But I do think Baltimore, and I'm really interested when Sasaki goes. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's the Baltimore. I don't think he's coming to Baltimore. But if Sasaki goes out west, San Diego, Seattle, you are going to see one of those big dogs out there get moved. And I guarantee you, Baltimore is going to be one of those teams buzzing to bring them in.
Yeah, and we've already seen reports of the Orioles have reached out to the Mariners about Castillo and guys like that. So the Sasaki is kind of that next domino to fall. I don't think Corbin impacts much that the Orioles are going to do because, as we've talked about, him going to San Francisco, I don't think makes anyone in San Francisco, all of a sudden expendable. I still think if they're going to make a trade, it's going to be with someone like the Padres, like the Mariners, like the Pirates. I think that works out very well too. There's some rumors around that. But overall, I think Corbin Burnes ends up in San Francisco. I think that's just kind of the writing's on the wall. Makes too much sense for both sides. They want him. I think he wants to be out west. Probably not the best for his championship aspirations, just because it's going to be tough being in, we talked about the Dodgers, Padres, same division. But Red Sox, Yankees here. It's going to be interesting, but I think we're both on the same page. We think he stays in orange and black next year, but on the West Coast.
Yeah, if that's the West Coast team that's going to give him the best offer, absolutely. Now, if he goes again to New York and Boston, fans in Baltimore, you have every right to be frustrated, but I think it's an emphasis. And I'll say this, and I saw this comment from Mark. What happened to loyalty to a team? You know how you establish that? The guys that you develop and bring in here. And you mentioned Carl Edwin right there. Calvin was drafted by the team. Convinced, hey, you're from here, and he's from Maryland. We're from Maryland. Stay here, be the guy, and he was all about that. Bobby Witt Jr. is looking to do that with Kansas City at the moment. You want that for Gunnar and Jackson. So if we're going to say about loyalty, your best shot to lock down the superstar for the future is Gunnar and Jackson. And I'll tell you what, it would pain me to see Gunnar Henderson in any other jersey besides the Orioles. I'll put it that way. Corbin in a different jersey, not going to have that same feeling.
Seen him in a different jersey for most of his career. And that's my final remark is, about the loyalty stuff. Soto didn't owe anything to the Yankees. Burnes doesn't owe anything to Baltimore, especially when these guys get traded there. Burnes, as much as I think he enjoyed being in Baltimore, I think Soto enjoyed being a Yankee. It's not like they had a choice. They didn't sign there in free agency thinking, okay, this is somewhere I want to stay. They went in saying to everyone, hey, I'm going to test free agency. Everyone knew going into the season what was going to happen. So I don't think it's something where you're sitting there going, oh, he's not loyal to this team. Like what happened to loyalty? It was a 1 year. He was here for less than 8 months. I can't be sitting there saying he's turning his back on us because that's not true.
Yeah. Well, and again, you were a contractor for a year.
Exactly.
You're brought in to do a job for a year, and we're hoping to see how it would turn out. The Yankees did that with Soto, saw the result there. The reality is this is a business, and you got to take care of yourself first and your family and whatever you want to do. And for these players, Zach, it takes so long to get to this process. I never blame anyone for going about when they've waited their time, they want to go somewhere else and they do the right thing. I'm all about it. And the last thing, Mark, I just want to say this. I know you're saying it's unacceptable what Elias is doing. I don't want to get into all of that. I will leave with this thought. Some things on the internet are very true. Some things on the internet are very false. And there could be some things in between. I think that a lot of people are talking about a certain situation there. And again, I'm not going to go into that I think is unfair. Because truly, I think it's so easy to throw that out there. And just from my own things that I've heard, I'm going to give Elias and this ownership the benefit of the doubt. And I'm not going to go out there and comment on anything else. I think that I'll just stay with that. Some things can be very true. Some things can be very false. So, one thing, though, we talked about guys doing the right thing Zach, and making sure if you do the right thing, and it's a business, you go and do your thing, right? Yeah. It's all part of it. Maybe it's a good time to transition slowly into football because it kind of deals with this with baseball. The whole Deontay Johnson, Devondre Campbell thing, and this is why I'm saying, you go out there and do your job. Corbin Burnes did his job. He battled till the end in Baltimore. If it's his last time playing in Baltimore, hell of an effort, man. He gave the Orioles a chance. Well, in football right now, we're seeing a debate that stretches outside of the football field. This is with any sport, any profession that you do. We had the whole Deontay Johnson situation with the Ravens that started versus the Eagles, which all of you guys are aware. Deontay Johnson refused to enter the game after Rashad Bateman got hurt, and that led to his suspension last week or this prior week versus the Giants. Then on Thursday night, Zach, Devondre Campbell, same situation. The 49ers are down men, and Devondre Campbell refuses to go into the game. And actually, let's play that clip again just so people can see it, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
So Devondre Campbell didn't play a snap tonight, but this is him walking off the field, helmet in hand, in the fourth quarter. Kyle Shanahan was asked about it after the game. Here's what he had to say. Take a listen.
Happened with Devondre Campbell. He didn't play, and he went into the locker room at some point.
Yeah, he said he didn't want to play today.
Play today?
Yeah.
The coaching staff?
He did when I asked him why he didn't want to go in. So.
During the game or before?
No, it was in the third quarter.
So right there was the conversation. He didn't want to go in. Yeah. And now John Lynch recently, they put out that they issued a statement. We have suspended Devondre Campbell Sr. for 3 games due to conduct detrimental to the team. We will have no further comment on that matter. Players after that game, unlike with Baltimore, right? This was a more public situation, maybe because it was a primetime game, Zach.
Very public.
But players after the game saying he's probably going to be cut tomorrow. He's done. Like, they were pissed. They were ticked off. Now, Baltimore is a little bit more trying to keep things in-house, and I appreciate that they wanted to do that. But it's a very similar situation here because now the report, Deontay Johnson has been excused from team activities for the Ravens this week. He's not playing in Baltimore against the Steelers.
No.
He's not going to play, in my opinion, for Baltimore again. But it's a bigger conversation here, Zach. The Devondre Campbell, for those that don't know, he was the starting linebacker this year because Dre Greenlaw had that horrific Achilles injury in the Super Bowl.
Running off the spot. Oh.
Running back onto the field, and it was a game-changing injury.
Yeah.
He was their X factor with Fred Warner. And then he's back on Thursday night. And they gave him his starting position back. Devondre wasn't happy about that. And then they had injuries. Dre Greenlaw was having some knee issues, soreness. You go, Devondre, we need you. And he said no.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that happened in Baltimore. Now, different context. But I think the bigger story here is, Zach, when we're talking about doing the right thing. I don't know Deontay. Yeah. I don't know Devondre. But one thing that is universal, you can't control what the coaches are going to do. And the players can't control what the coaches want to do schematically. You just got to be there for those guys that are putting it on the line. That's the bigger issue here. And quite frankly, you don't want a guy on your team if that's going to be the case. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. It seems like while the Ravens are not going to make any move, if we're going to guess, just like the 49ers, they don't want Deontay or Devondre to go to a contender and to be like, hey, you're off scot-free. And the suspension docks them money at the same time.
Yeah, at the end of the day, probably the number one reason, if the Ravens weren't competitive this season, if the Ravens didn't have Super Bowl aspirations, I think you would have seen Deontay gone and just flat out released probably after the Eagles game. But the Ravens in no way want to allow somebody who was up in the league in separation and who had been, especially in Carolina this year, a valuable target. You don't want him to suddenly hit the free agent market where all of a sudden a team like the Bills, a team like the Chiefs goes out there and they grab him. And suddenly now you're sitting there in January and Deontay Johnson is over there giving inside information. Not even that happens anyway, but you're getting more information. You're getting a talented guy to go work with Patrick Mahomes. And the second Deontay went and worked with Patrick Mahomes, he'd look like a number one receiver. It's just what happened. So I think that's the biggest reason why they're not cutting him, is they just simply, and another reason is someone I've seen talk up here. If the Ravens keep him and he signs elsewhere this offseason, they still get a compensatory pick. So that's another thing. Just keep getting picks, because you might as well. You're probably going to get a 5th round pick for him. So
I would even say at this point, it's less about the pick. I know they love their picks. It's less about the picks now. It's more about their value of it. One team, some teams might get desperate and say that they need help. A lot of teams need help offensively. You would think, though, with a situation like this, a team you would say, hey, we're not touching him regardless. We're not going to do that. And again, this isn't me going after anyone's character. I don't know the guy. I just know being in a locker room, Zach, and being with surrounded with guys, and we've had different situations where you might not be happy with your situation. It might be frustrating as hell, but the guys next to you don't have anything to do with that. Like I would ride or die with those guys. They needed me, I'm in. Even if I'm pissed. And that kind of happened down my last year of playing, Zach. Like my opportunities were cut back. I understood the business. I didn't blame anybody with it. It was frustrating. I didn't play well with my opportunities when I had it, but you're sitting there. But I'll tell you what, anytime my teammates needed me for something, my ass is in there. I'm going in, because they dedicate too much of their time, and also their careers are on the line too. So if I can help in any way, I want to. That's the way you want to do it. And the last thing I'll do the example and why this pays off or pays ahead. How about Baker Mayfield through the years? Cleveland, you are the scapegoat. See you later. You go to Carolina, you get embarrassed in Carolina. They put you as the defensive end of the practice squad, which Baker did. Sure, he wasn't happy about that situation, but he did his part. And I'm not saying that he handled everything perfectly, but clearly Baker didn't burn any bridges, Zach.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Tampa Bay, and his career now is being resurrected. There is something about going about your business the best you can. Daniel Jones, people were getting on him about how he played. Well, I'll tell you what, everyone said he was a class act. Showed up every day. Just didn't play well. Showed up every day. And people respected that.
Yeah, and that's the most respectable part, is when these guys like a Daniel Jones, like a Baker Mayfield, when you go into a situation in Carolina or with the Giants like Daniel Jones, and they just flat out are like, hey, you're done. Like, we're not starting you. We're not playing you. You can go home. You can do whatever. They literally told Daniel Jones he was 4th he wasn't even taking reps. He was playing scout team safety, so it is one of those things where it's the team. You can't burn bridges. And it feels like Deontay Johnson, especially him, the narrative in Pittsburgh was not the best team-oriented guy. They felt like they got rid of him more for off-the-field stuff than on-the-field stuff. Going into a contract year, goes to Carolina. Obviously, Carolina is in a whole different position than the Steelers and the Ravens. Felt like he put up good stats there, good enough that you felt like it was a good match for him to join the Ravens, kind of start getting ready for free agency, help compete for a Super Bowl, put a few highlights up during the postseason, during the stretch for the playoffs. And then it just never happened. As soon as he wasn't really that guy, he was no longer a top 2 guy. He stayed in, and everyone kept saying, you got to wait for an opportunity. The opportunity came. Rashad Bateman, we talked about why do you trade for Deontay Johnson? In case Rashad Bateman or somebody goes down, you want him to step in. The exact situation happens, and Deontay's like, I'm good. So at that point, so are we. I think the Ravens were like, if you're good, we're good.
And then they're moving on with who they got. And how about Rashad Bateman? That'll be a good thing to go into that. So, but D. Porter, wanted to shout you out, man. We appreciate you. I'm standing up for you.
Yeah, I got him.
Get up. Get your ass up there, Zach. Beautiful. D. Porter, appreciate you. Sup, Ryan Ripken Show peeps. Hope everyone is having a great start to the week. We are hoping you are doing the same, D. Porter. Excited for a great spring coming up with baseball. We'll have a lot of conversations there. It is still football time. And here's another beautiful thing here. We are a Baltimore, Maryland-based show, but we love to talk about the NFL as a whole. We like to talk about MLB as a whole. That's going to be my backbone, obviously, is in baseball. We're going to have so much coverage going into the season. And a reminder for everyone out there, we have our happy hour hot stove on Wednesday. Just because the winter and spring, it's a little bit slower until spring training. We're going to give you an hour dedicated to just baseball from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern time. So join us then, just baseball. But we're talking a little bit of everything, foosball, baseball, what Zach finds on the internet and whatnot.
Yeah.
So as we transition around Maryland and into kind of the Ravens a little bit more, Zach, why don't we take a trip on our Adams Jeep of Maryland, our OG sponsor that's up there in Aberdeen, 5 minutes down the road from Ripken Stadium, where the Ironbirds play. And Zach, you know what I'm going to try to do here.
We'll see if it works.
We'll see how quickly it works.
It's not going to work.
How much does a polar bear weigh?
Enough to break the ice.
Enough to break the ice. Bam! There it is. Adams Jeep of Maryland. Look, they've been our OG sponsor from the beginning. Would not be where we are without them. They have some new deals that are going on up there in Aberdeen. If you have a used car, you want to buy a new car, you use the phrase Rocco sucks, they'll give you a gas card up to $1,000 with purchase. And actually, I was messing around the other day, Zach, just because, it's the same thing with like Zillow, where you just go on and you look at houses or prices of things that are way astronomically out of your range.
Of course.
But then you find something that you might like. That's how I actually found my current living situation.
Ooh.
And it was a great price. So Adams Jeep, they have the same feature. You can price out what you want in a vehicle, and you can look at the options that they have. But tell Chuck and Matt we say hello, and we have a lot more planned with them upcoming here in the future. All right, let's talk a little bit more about this past weekend. The Ravens played well, Zach. Ravens won. And it was actually a stress-free Sunday for most people. I wrote that as a tweet. You know me, I was traveling yesterday, and I asked people, I'm like, hey, what was the best part about your football Sunday? And they went, it was nice to relax for a third and fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, what was your best football moment from the Ravens on Sunday?
It was weirdly enough, it was when DeVito tried the quarterback sneak in the end of the first quarter, I guess midway through the first quarter. Ravens obviously have the big kickoff return. You fumble it on the second play. You force the Giants 3 and out. So you're like, okay, defense is holding them. Go down, score. Giants start putting pressure on you. And I was like, ooh. I was like, come on, Ravens, don't do this. I was like, let's not allow this to happen. 4th and inches. Giants go up to just a quick quarterback sneak. Ravens just, I think, pushed the entire line back about 3 yards. And it was literally at that moment that I was like, oh, we're bigger and stronger than them in the front. And it was just like, because of injuries, the Giants are already beat up. And then they were playing with so many guys that wouldn't be playing already.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they got that big, they were just overpowering them on the line. I was like, okay, this is a game that's going to be a lot of fun. Also, Lamar running. And then how can you not? Tez Walker, we've been waiting for it. Touchdown on his first catch. Absolutely love it.
First catch, 21-yarder, right? And a good little toe tap there for Tez.
Torrey Smith-esque. Everyone's saying that Tez Walker is the first deep threat, true deep that the team has had since Torrey. Looked a little similar to Torrey's first touchdown, the little toe tap in the back of the end zone. Just saying. But
you know what? We're talking about opportunities, and there are guys on this team that are waiting for their opportunity. That's awesome. Tez Walker, fantastic. Glad he has 2 things he can check off his list. First catch, first touchdown. Then you're looking at the other side. How about Rashad Bateman in general, man? And I am so happy to see a healthy Rashad Bateman. I'm glad came out of the bye healthy, right? He got banged up against the Eagles. But, dude, he's become a big play threat. That's the reason why the Ravens got him. Be a playmaker. And there were some trials and tribulations. Part of the big reason was not staying healthy.
Yeah.
We saw moments of him when he was the wide receiver 1, where he was getting open. It felt like at will. He had that 75-yard touchdown where he beat Xavier Howard on a slant. You're going, damn, the dude's got it. But then it's been up and down. Then there was frustrations. But EDC goes, hey, I like you. I believe in you. Let's do an extension.
Yeah.
And he has paid off. He gets first downs. He gets touchdowns. And guess what? Lamar Jackson trusts him to make a play. I think that's the best part of it. You can argue it's the best game of his career that he's had. I would say it's definitely
something about
one of them.
MetLife.
He loves playing at MetLife.
Playing at MetLife.
He was great. And then how about, it's a little thing. You mentioned this, little things. No field goals. But Justin Tucker, 5 for 5 for extra points here, by the way. So shout out Nick Moore. It's got to be, it starts with a snap.
Yeah.
It starts with a snap.
And it's like, I know I put, half sarcastic tweets out there talking about Tucker 5 for 5 on extra points. The haters are shaking and stuff. But seeing the ball go through the uprights 5 times in a game and not miss once, I don't care if it was 5 extra points, 5 field goals. It's got to feel pretty damn good and feel pretty good for your confidence. Also, saw Jordan Stout taking kickoffs at the end. We'll see if that continues, but a very fun game. If you're a Ravens fan, it just felt like everyone involved was getting targets. Everyone was playing well. You had your gamely that feels like over the past 4 games where Isaiah Likely gets a catch and you're like, oh shit, we have Isaiah Likely. Like it feels like if Mark Andrews has been Mark Andrews again, kind of forget about all the fun weapons that they have on offense. So really just overall a fun game defensively, fun game offensively. Exactly what the Ravens needed. You need to get right game before the stretch. And this was exactly what they should have done.
And talk about another guy that earned his stripes, and we've seen it pay off more and more this year, Justice Hill. Another touchdown, good performance from him. Other guys are stepping up. That's the beauty of opportunity. Now, if there was one blemish in this game, Zach, and you know what I'm going to say here, and thank goodness it didn't affect, because the combination of Boyle and DeVito, it was not going to turn out too well for the Giants. But the Ravens still had 12 penalties for 112 yards. So if there's one thing I'm going to say, that number being that high, say that was against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The Bills. The Steelers coming up on Saturday. Massive game. That's going to come back to haunt Baltimore. That's a number right there. They know they need to correct. And if they can, they're going to be in great position. Lamar Jackson had more passing touchdowns than he had incompletions. Again, it's a guy that it's video game numbers. You can say what you want. You're playing the Giants. You're playing a lifeless team. It's still an NFL team. They still have some solid players, specifically on the defensive side of the ball. They lit them up. Lamar was unstoppable. It was fantastic to see. And now the Ravens, with the Steelers' loss, this game really is for the AFC North this week. If the Steelers win, it's over. They win the division. But now, Baltimore, you win that game, you now are deadlocked with Pittsburgh with 2 weeks to go. And this, Zach, correct me if I'm wrong, is this Lamar's first game against Pittsburgh in Baltimore that he started that was not COVID?
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely, I have to knock on wood, it's definitely will hopefully be the first time Lamar Jackson's ever played the Steelers twice in a season. So, hey, where else? It's all I'll to quote the great Aaron Boone, it's all in front of us.
It's all in front of us.
It's all in front of us. You just gotta win. And let me tell you, the Cincinnati Bengals are getting they still got a chance. They still got a chance. And the reason that's important if you're the Ravens is because week 18, final week of the season, Steelers Bengals. And let me tell you, if it comes down to it and the Ravens win this week and it comes down to week 18, win and you win the division, you would much rather the Steelers have to go against the Bengals team clawing for their playoff hopes against an MVP caliber Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase is putting offensive player of the year.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where, hey, you win this game, you're feeling pretty good. Looking at the Steelers having to finish off with the potentially Mahomes-less Chiefs on, which I'll give him credit. Everyone always, we were talking about, Christmas, black magic for the Chiefs, black magic for the Steelers. Gotta give Tomlin his respect. He said, I'm not going to use any black magic on the Eagles. I'm going to instead use that to make sure that Patrick Mahomes, chestnut checkers. He
gets it.
He used his black magic from this week to impact Mahomes for down the road. You got to give it to him. The guy's good.
The guy's good. He knows what he's doing. And the Eagles defense, you can make the argument that is the best defense right now in the NFL. They're playing with a lot of confidence. But for Pittsburgh right now, it's these next 2 games. And for Baltimore, you got to be Pittsburgh. You got to end this streak that Pittsburgh's on. You have to. Because if not, then we're just going to hear the narrative the rest of the way. And that also means Baltimore more than likely will have to go on the road to either Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Kansas City, and probably have to face 2, if not 3 of those teams. If you can get a home game, we all know what that means playing at M&T Bank Stadium. But to give you guys a little bit of an update here on the NFL situation, and right now as we're looking at some odds for division, why don't we take a quick trip up to our friends at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Beautiful, Zach. Wonderful. Our friends are just an hour and 15 from Baltimore, hour from Owings Mills, and Hollywood Casino up at Charlestown Races. They got a lot of great things going on, and they also are being introduced as ESPN Bet into their sports book. So we're going to be up there some point after the new year when it's going in. We're going to have more shows up there. Should be a very fun winter and spring, but go check out what they are doing up there at Hollywood Casino and Charlestown Races. Zach, quick odds. Steelers are still favored at -170 to win the division. But Baltimore's now creeped down to +125. So you're seeing, and obviously this could change drastically with what happens here on Saturday as the Steelers are coming to Baltimore. And that place is going to be bumping. The lots are going to be, they should open the lots at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
They should be there. We got to figure out what our time's going to be for the show. But we're best believe
it's going to be a fun time in Baltimore.
Our ass is going to be in the lots.
Yeah. Place to be next this Saturday. That's for sure. Be there, be square. Baltimore.
And hey, this is a good time. It's a great time. Honestly, if you think about this region for Maryland, for the Ravens, the Commanders, it's a really good time. The Orioles are still up for, despite everyone being upset about it, the Orioles are going to still be a good team next year.
Nats just got the number 1 pick.
They're going to have Ethan Holiday down the street. They're going to have Jackson here in Baltimore, right? That's the hypothetical. Ethan's Jackson's younger brother, who's projected to be the number 1 overall pick. A lot of great things here. We'll get into the Steelers week later on. I think that we're going to have to figure out, what's going to happen. And I know Brad just put in there about the big question for the Steelers game is Pickens and Watt. Watt's playing. They said he's fine. That dude's not going to miss this game for a low ankle sprain. The one that's interesting is George Pickens. Yeah. That offense is drastically different.
And hamstrings are weird.
They're very weird. But that is the one guy. And I was hearing, it might have been Damian Woody this morning on Get Up talking about how without Pickens, they don't have anyone on that Steelers offense that makes you go, damn, we have to know where he is at all times, and we must shut him down for us to have a chance. Pittsburgh just knows how to defend the Ravens offensively well. They've done that so far, and the black magic's a real thing. The voodoo's there, but it's something to watch. We'll get into that, and we'll have more reports as we move later into the week. But Ravens and Steelers, man, get your popcorn ready.
Get your popcorn.
How about go down the street real quickly? And that one game, and also that the last thing I'll say with that, Ravens being 6.5-point favorites or 7-point favorites, I hate it.
It's so stupid.
I hate it. Hate it with a passion.
That's got to be solely because of the uncertainty of TJ and George Pickens. Because as Steve pointed out here, Steelers are 1-10 in games without TJ Watt.
He's playing.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna. He's playing.
I don't think he's going to be able to feel his ankle, but he's going to be out there. They're going to make sure that it is wrapped up and he takes the good medicine so that he does not know he has an ankle.
You remember in Happy Gilmore, when they're working on their quilting or they're making things, and one of the grandmothers goes, "My fingers hurt."
Yeah.
Oh, your fingers hurt? Well, you know what? Well, too bad. Well, now you just pulled landscaping duty. Does anyone else's fingers hurt? Hey, that's the mentality. Ben Stiller's character in Happy Gilmore. That is the Steelers and TJ Watt. Oh, your fingers hurt? Oh, your ankle hurts? Well, too bad. We're going to have you do something more strenuous in that process there. TJ Watt's playing, dude. And you know what? I want him in the game. I want him playing.
Mm-hmm.
No excuses. No excuses whatsoever. I'm curious what will happen. Should be a great game. If you're new to the channel, though, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We're live every Monday, Thursday for our normal show. Obviously, when the spring rolls around and football's done, we're going to get a lot more into the baseball conversations. But don't worry, Wednesdays, Hot Stove Happy Hours, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, solely about baseball content. And, join us, have a drink, relax, and maybe get all fired up about your favorite or least favorite team, acquisition, whatever it may be. Let's go down the road, though, Zach, because I think this has become a continued conversation. And the Commanders snuck out with a victory. Big victory for them. Yeah. Huge. I mean, for their playoff chances, everything. But that's not what was taken away from the game. It was that a situation happened at the end of the game that shouldn't have happened. So for those that don't know, the Commanders are up 7, 9 seconds to go in the game. The Saints can't stop the clock. They complete a pass to Foster Moreau, who is stopped short of the goal line. And all of a sudden, there's a clock stoppage. We'll show you the video here in a second. JP Finley down in Washington, he put out a video explaining that and the clock. So, Zach, if we can put that video up here now, you're going to see. I think it's right there. So you're going to see. Watch the 0-9 stops.
And there's the play clock going.
The clock stopped for about 3 seconds. And the game clock stops with 3 seconds.
Yeah, so here you go. It's so we hit 9, and then we go all the way. Yeah, there's 4 seconds go off the clock.
4 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And after the game, Stephen Hockley was asked about it.
Yeah.
And said, we realized that the clock operator or the game manager operator on the field.
The ref that came in from the side kind of signaled hands up, the universal stop
the clock. Yeah.
So, of course, the clock operator, seeing the stop the clock, his job is to, hey, stop the clock. And then I think there was kind of some, oh, shit, we just stopped the clock, as literally the final seconds are ticking off and everyone's scrambling. And that's it was good that the Commanders won, because could you imagine the headlines and stuff that would be going around had they not gotten out of there with the victory? I mean, they were very, very close. The Saints tied it on the next play, or I guess brought it to within 1 on the next play, and then decide go for 2 for the win, which I absolutely love.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not playing for anything. You might as well go for 2. Don't get it. Doesn't matter. They move on. But had they gotten it, especially when it comes down to Washington is very much fighting for those playoff spots.
Damn right.
That would have been a massive asterisk of, hey, how different could this be had the clock been run properly?
Oh, for sure. And yes, the Commanders in that game had some missed opportunities to Scary Terry. They just missed, but it doesn't diminish the fact here that shouldn't have happened. And a specific play would have altered what could have been the playoff chances for the Washington Commanders. Now they could still miss the playoffs, but that victory, Zach, significantly increased their chances to make the playoffs. They're sitting at 9-5, and there it is, whammy. Like, that was a tremendous moment for them on the season. So we're excited about that part. We'll get into a little bit more Ravens conversation in a second. But the other part from the weekend then, Zach, besides the Commanders in Washington, how does this shit keep happening? And specifically, if you guys watch 2 games, one of them didn't hurt as bad as the other. But what is with this trend and fad of dropping the ball before you score into the end zone? The Bengals did it earlier in the game, but Zach, here's the Bengals one real quickly, and he's trying to switch arms, but at the same time, you can tell he's ready to let it loose and let it drop, right? Bengals win that game.
Yeah,
okay?
Shout out Sam Hubbard for also then getting a touchdown later that game. Had the Bengals defense in fantasy, and trust me, had some choice words for battle after that one.
Yep. And also then Sam Hubbard caught that touchdown, and then he's out for the year now, PCL injury. But the bigger one was out in Denver. The Colts are up 13-7, and Jonathan Taylor is about to house a 41-yard run to put them up. It would have been 13 points. And instead, right there, drops the ball. And what proceeds to happen? They overturn the call, Zach, and the Broncos score 24 unanswered. And the Colts' chances of making the playoffs are gone after this. They win this game, Zach, right?
They have a very good chance.
They're a game back of Denver with the tiebreaker. Yeah. And they had the most favorable schedule left of the teams contending for a final playoff spot.
Yeah, you're behind Denver with the tiebreaker, and then suddenly Denver has to play the Bengals still. They have to play the Chiefs still. So you're sitting there feeling really good if you're the Colts after that game, because they have to play, I believe it's the Titans and Jaguars are their toughest ones. That's not necessarily something I'm sitting there going, oh boy, that's scary for them. But yeah, that's a brutal way, especially from the guy that you kind of see as your one of the leaders of your team. For that to happen to him, I think was the toughest part.
It was. And you know what? Let's play the clip of JT, Jonathan Taylor, talking about it, because he is a professional. He's accountable, and he owns it. It's just still the result was the result. Let's play that clip real quickly of JT.
Happened there at the goal line there with the football.
Yeah, they said I didn't cross the goal line. That can't happen.
Did you know at the time, or?
No, not until there's a flag, or not a flag until they started reviewing it.
JT, we haven't seen you do that before. I mean, were you consciously aware that you're dropping the ball, or how did that play out?
No, you're never consciously aware you're dropping the ball. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it.
It looked like you were trying to switch hands at that point.
No,
you were just slipped out.
No, you just can't do it. It just can't happen.
So we could go on and on with that video.
Love that, by the way.
But I love it. There's no excuse.
No.
He's not looking the other way. He's not blaming anybody else. Can't happen.
Yeah. And I love that. Hey, were you trying to switch hands and the ball slipped out? No, I dropped it. Can't happen.
No excuse.
No, absolutely. And what's funny is literally the reporters were giving him excuses. They're like, hey, you didn't realize you're dropping. He's like, you never realized you're dropping it, but that doesn't mean that you can drop it. Did you know you were doing it? Nope, but that doesn't matter.
Nope.
Were you switching hands and it slipped? Nope, doesn't matter. I dropped it and I hurt the team. That's a team leader. He messed up in a very tough way. Another guy I had both these guys in fantasy.
Oh, you had JT too? Whoa.
It still advanced to the championship. So a little adversity. Thank you. A little adversity, but we made it. Love that accountability. I really do. It's something that you want to see, especially with the young team, because that's a very young team. The Colts are in a very weird situation right now with Steichen and Ballard at the helm. And I think there's a lot of things up in the air with the Colts. So for your team leader, for that to happen to him, it could have gotten ugly if he goes out there and he's like, well, there were so many other mistakes that didn't cost us. If he would have deflected it and been like, it wasn't that big of a deal. We had that trick play that failed. That also hurt, stuff like that. He took full accountability. He's like, listen, I messed up. Can't happen. And that's what you want to see from a leader.
I know. And honestly, some people are still going to be all mad about it. The best thing you can do is that. The best thing you can do is not to have that happen. But the next best thing is you don't sugarcoat it. You don't hide from it. You say, hey, that's on me. Not anybody else. I just dropped it. Can't happen. Can't happen. You reiterate that. And yeah, people can continue to be pissed off. There's a lot of people pissed off in Indianapolis, rightfully so. But it's a microcosm of kind of like what's going wrong with the Colts. But one thing you love is that guy you signed to an extension. He's not hiding from it. He's a hell of a player. I believe he's going to bounce back. The Colts too, also different circumstance. The play resurfaced, Zach, of Chuck Pagano's fake punt resurfaced where they go, the Colts just do ridiculous stuff because the A.D. Mitchell pass that got picked off then later in that game. It's just the Colts. They imploded. Talk about imploding. The Colts imploded. That's a team that I think could actually be in the playoffs. I think they could beat the Broncos. They could beat the Chargers. And all of a sudden, just like that, when I move, you move. Just like that, you're going to be moving right out of the playoffs. So, oh man, that is what it is. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Hey, let's talk a little bit more about a little bit of Ravens and football. And we'll bring on our guy behind the scenes. He's got to run around. This is the time where he doesn't sleep, but I think that's kind of every day of the year.
Yeah.
But specifically this time of the year, let's bring on our favorite oyster shucker and yours,
shucker.
Kevin Ostreicher. Kevin, happy Monday, buddy.
Happy Monday, guys. I quickly want to pour one out for the Baltimore Ravens, particularly their social media team, because I don't know if you saw, but they got community noted on one of their posts, and you get dunked on by the community notes. Happened to the Ravens, so got to pour one out for them real quick.
What was the
Oh no, I haven't.
Do you know? So they posted the graphic yesterday of Lamar being the first quarterback in NFL history, the 80% completion, 250 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, 50 rushing yards, and it's like, 1 of 1, only QB in NFL history. Josh Allen did it in 2022, and everybody was saying, "Oh no, you're wrong," and so the community note, Josh Allen did this on January 15th, 2022. Now, I guess that was a playoff game, wasn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, January 15th. It had to be.
Yeah.
So I guess regular season is 1 of 1, but still, when you get community, I've never done it. I've had freezing cold take stuff happen to me, but I've never gotten community noted.
You haven't gotten community noted yet? Not yet.
I haven't either, thankfully. It's coming, but
yeah,
it'll happen.
Yeah, you guys push the envelope a little bit more than I do on certain things.
It'll happen one day. When Kevin dipped his toes in breaking news, we could have had it. That probably was the closest.
Kevin.
Well, I went 2 for 2 and then I retired. I'm never doing it again. I retired.
You're retired.
It is stressful stuff, especially when the reports don't. I don't know. Have I told you this story, Ryan? I know Zach and I talked about it on Kevin and Zach React, but when Lamar had COVID, I heard that, and so I put it out. I'm like, reading the room, wouldn't be shocked if Lamar had, but then the Ravens tested him again or something, or kept it under wraps for 2 days, and everyone's like, you're just false reporting, you're terrible, and then 2 days later it came out, and then everybody was like, oh, okay. And so I'm like, man, never again. And then I did it with our Darius Washington, but the Ravens didn't report their undrafted list for 11 days or something, 2 weeks. Yeah. And everyone's like, you better be right. You're going to lose all your credibility. And then I was right. And then I said, this is, I'm never doing this again. I'm
probably 2 for 2, batting 1,000. Calling it there.
Pinch hitter. I come up sometimes, do my job, and then right back to the bench.
Love it. Hey, you know what though? Going out on top there. Go stay ahead while you're ahead there, Kev.
Yeah.
You picked a beautiful time to join. We talked earlier about, the conversations with Deontay and Devondre. So we touched on that, but you're here for the juicy part of it because you put this out on your page earlier today on X. You know what? I think Lamar and Josh are very good. I think they're both exceptional quarterbacks. But there is some conflicting reports here, Kevin, with 3 weeks to go in the season of who the MVP is. Some say the race is over. And there's one person that doesn't. So, Zach, why don't we play the first clip of this? Which one do you think we should go with first, Dan or Rex?
Yeah, let's go Dan first.
Dan Orlovsky covers the quarterbacks. Always been a fan of Lamar Jackson as well, but we know he's a huge fan of Josh Allen. Dan talked about after Josh's recent performance against the Lions that he thinks his MVP award is already said and done. Let's play that for you.
The race is over, folks. In 2024. Number 17's running away with this. And that's saying a lot because Saquon Barkley and Lamar Jackson are having tremendous seasons. What this dude is doing right now is absolutely unbelievable. Okay, I want everyone very much so to understand what I'm saying statistically. 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks, no fumbles. He's done it in back-to-back weeks. Nobody in the history of the NFL has done that. 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, no fumbles, no sacks. He's done it in back-to-back weeks.
Crazy.
Those other players are having great seasons. The MVP's over.
So that's a 2-game span, right? And again, an unbelievable 2 weeks, by the way. You could say the last 4 weeks. He's had an unreal 4 weeks of the season. He's playing really well. Buffalo's in a great position. One more clip then. Rex Ryan talked about then if you're not voting for Josh Allen, you don't know football. So, Zach, can we play that clip real quickly of Rex Ryan?
Years, I know I am sometimes accused of being prone to hyperbole. I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback play better than Josh Allen is playing right this minute. You played with Brady, who at times felt completely unstoppable. Peyton Manning at times has felt unstoppable. Patrick Mahomes at times has felt unstoppable. And there are others that go in this category. Lamar Jackson, we all know who we're talking about. I don't know that anyone has ever played better than Josh Allen is playing right now. Can I put the full screen up there, which is A18, please? In his last 2 games, Josh Allen has accounted for 10 touchdowns and 0 turnovers. He's accounted for 854 yards of total offense, 5 passing touchdowns, 5 rushing touchdowns, 0 turnovers. He also has, for whatever this is worth, the most fantasy points in consecutive games by a quarterback since the merger, which is relevant only because it gives you an indication of the various ways in which this man is filling up a stat sheet. He is an avenger. He is unstoppable.
I mean, it's incredibly difficult to defend.
And when you put him in there with the Tom Bradys of the world, all right? Because Tom Brady, I've seen him do it with a lot less at receiver and all that. This man is playing. This is a rebuild year.
Yeah.
He played without his 2 top receivers for years. Just came in the league. We're just going to give him anybody. And look at the year he's having. Like, it's crazy. The MVP, if anybody votes for somebody other than Josh Allen for the MVP, take their MVP vote away and give it to somebody who actually knows the game.
Okay, so it's that ending point right there. Can we just all say Josh Allen's a dude, man? That dude is a beast. So, but what we're implying, though, is the last 4 weeks specifically would make Josh Allen a unanimous MVP. Guys, call me crazy, but there's 3 weeks left. There's a quarterback in Baltimore that if they win out, they will finish with a record of 12-5. Buffalo can finish at 14-3, right? That's the best record they can finish with. Lose my mind.
Yep.
Kev, Lamar, I know people care about Super Bowls more than anything, right? Lamar cares about Super Bowls. Josh Allen and the Bills care about Super Bowls. Are people undermining how great of a year statistically Lamar is having just because we're prisoners of the moment?
It's not only prisoner of the moment, it's recency bias. And honestly, those two things go hand in hand, Ryan. But like, we're bringing up fantasy points in conversations for MVPs now. Like, is that really what we're doing? This reminds me, I don't know if you saw, it was a post maybe a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Someone was giving a scouting report on Anthony Edwards. And obviously it was a star at this point. And in the strengths, they put he has immense aura. That was a strength on a scouting report for let me read off some actual stats, not fantasy points, not aura, for Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, who both, by the way, are having incredible seasons.
Unreal.
Obviously, we're also talking about recency bias. Remember what happened just week 4, a couple of months ago, when the Ravens blew out the Bills, and everybody calls that the Derrick Henry game. Well, Lamar Jackson, he played better than Josh Allen. Josh Allen struggled terribly in that game. Lamar's 1-0 head-to-head. Lamar also has a better completion percentage, more passing yards per attempt, more passing yards per game, more passing touchdowns, less interceptions, a better passer rating, more rushing yards. You have rush yards per attempt. Lamar Jackson there too. The only things that Josh Allen has better than Lamar Jackson is the record, which is 2 games off, in rushing touchdowns. You can see on that graphic there, the only things that he has over another would-be MVP candidate, if the record was a little better, is Joe Burrow. Record is a conversation point. Division winner, it's a conversation point too. But there was a bigger conversation, I think, to me, when the Bills had 2 losses. At the end of the day, MVP, Lamar's won 2 of them. He'll tell you he'd trade both of those for a Super Bowl championship and a Super Bowl MVP. But my thing is, give the awards to the player that deserves it the most. And right now, I don't think you can make a conclusion between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. If you think Josh Allen's the favorite or you think Lamar Jackson's the favorite, sure.
Yep.
Both guys deserve to be in that conversation. It's a 2-guy race. But to declare it over for one guy, and obviously I haven't heard one take that says, oh, Lamar's running away with the MVP. And yes, it's the Giants. And yes, Josh Allen's had big wins. But to say that this is over with 3 weeks to go, like you said, Ryan, I don't buy that whatsoever.
Well, actually, and Zach will get your take on this next video then. RG3 talked about it, and Kevin, you tweeted this out earlier on the Up and Adams show with Kay Adams. RG3 was asked, does he think the award's over? Does Lamar have a shot? And I'll tell you what, RG3 is telling me there's a chance with Lamar. So let's play that clip for you guys.
A race still a race?
Yes, it's still a race. And I said this on X yesterday and, got a lot of comments back. Oh, you don't like Josh Allen, blah. No, I love Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is in the driver's seat right now. He's the number one seed in the MVP race. Mm-hmm. But what I also know is that the MVP is the MVP of the entire season. It's not the MVP of a 4-game stretch. It's not the MVP of a 6-game stretch. It's not the MVP at the beginning. It's not just the MVP at the end. So last week, Saquon Barkley was number one in the MVP race. A couple of weeks before that, it was Lamar Jackson, and nobody questioned it. So how you finish matters. And, Kay, we have the blessing of watching Lamar Jackson play against a playoff team in Houston Texans on national TV in almost 200 countries, and how you finish matters. The Bills have 3 games left, and so do the Ravens. Well, the Bills are going to play teams that have a combined record of 7-21 that are not making the playoffs. Lamar and the Ravens are going to play 2 teams that have a combined record of 19-9 in the Steelers and the Texans. And to me, if Lamar goes on Christmas Day and has the game he had against the New York Giants, I believe he wins the MVP in that situation because it's on prime time galactical TV. Okay, everybody is going to be watching this, and I can't say enough about the season that Lamar's had. If you put them side by side for the season, Lamar beats Josh Allen in every statistical category except for rushing touchdowns. So, and he's got 9 more passing touchdowns. So it's like, it's not Josh Allen hate. Josh Allen is doing legendary things. I think he's the first quarterback in NFL
I think
history.
we have the. Do we have it? I'm hearing that we have it.
You have that graphic.
I think we have the passer rating. Or I don't know what we have.
Yeah.
This makes your point. This is for you, RG3.
So I'm going to pause it for a second. Oh, you're good.
I mean,
I was going to pause it.
Is the
Sorry, let me put it back there. I got it. Sorry. So right there, shirts and pants, man. So Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer. Like Matt Ryan, I think should be a Hall of Famer. I think he's going to be in there. But the other guy, surefire, first ballot. Hall of Famers. Like that's what they're going to be with Tom, Peyton, Aaron Rodgers. It just goes to show you how great of a year he's having. And Zach, it goes to this point. And Kevin, you talked about this on the previous, when you were giving the example here in between that video and the Rex Ryan and Dan Orlovsky explanations. If Lamar slays the demons with Pittsburgh and lights them up, and that's going to be a primetime environment. People are going to be tuning in for that game on Saturday. And then they go to Houston on Christmas. And they light up a Texans team that they've been stingy defensively. They've given a lot of teams problems defensively. By the way, that's a team that the Bills really struggled with in Buffalo. Look, I love both guys. But I think if Lamar does that, I'm with RG3, man. Do you think in the same category, Lamar lights it up, we might have a different perception here going into the final week of the season?
Yeah, of course I do, because we've had a different perception going into each week pretty much with this NFL season. Do we not remember when Sam Darnold was the clear-cut MVP finalist favorite in like week 5? Like it's week what? We just finished week 15. I think we've had 13 MVP frontrunners. Remember when Derrick Henry was the MVP frontrunner? I agree with RG3, and real fast, I think it's hilarious when it panned full screen to RG3, just the casual Heisman sitting next trophy.
I was going to say that too.
Very out of place next to the Fungo Pop. Incredible placement by RG3 there. I agree with the fact that because of the teams that are left and what times they're being played, because he talked about national television, and then this Saturday versus Steelers, that they are that time slot. That is the time where, people are going to be tuning into that game. If Lamar Jackson goes and does what he did this past weekend against those two, then yeah, I completely agree. I think it is completely open. In my mind, Josh Allen I would give him an 80% chance at winning this thing. I think he is by far the front runner. And he deserves it. I think the biggest thing is he's beaten the Chiefs and he's beaten the Lions. He's beaten if they finish with the number 1 seeds, I think that carries weight, because we said the same thing about Lamar last year. I think it's one of those things where Allen's had the big moments. He's had the run against the Chiefs to win the game. He had the little hook and ladder thing with Amari Cooper in the snow that everyone was obsessed about. It just feels like he's had those moments. I think it's his award to lose. But last year, I think going into the final 3 weeks, Lamar was like plus 400 odds to win the MVP. And people said, okay, the only way he wins it is if he can go in and put up 2 dominant performances against a very good 49ers team and a very good Dolphins team. And we saw how that went. So I'm going to say at the end of the day, it's not over. I think it does go to Josh Allen at this point, but Lamar Jackson, the ball is in his court. If you perform on prime time, because it does feel like the MVP award does kind of come down to who performs well on prime time most recently, I think ball's in his court.
That's what we talked about with Christmas too. Remember last year?
Yeah, after the game, it solidified it. It was a stamp then. Oh, there's the game.
Boom,
and by the way,
game.
that was against what people viewed as the best team in the NFL, in San Francisco. I know the Lions considered were the best team going into this week. And hey, kudos to Josh Allen, man. He was unbelievable. Unbelievable in their place. And you could say, hey, put up all those numbers. But then here's one thing I'll say. If Lamar runs the table and he puts up video game numbers and they win all of those 3 games, I think people do still forget. And it's not Josh Allen's fault at all. The Bills lost to the Rams. They didn't win that game. So I'm not, and because people were looking at wins and losses, Josh Allen did everything humanly possible to win that game. But they didn't win that game. So if we're talking about wins and losses, that's one part. If Lamar runs the table here, and guys, this will be the interesting debate for me. And Josh Allen deserves to be an MVP. Deserves. I'm with you, Zach. I think he wins it right now. I think that if Lamar is put average for Lamar's sake and the Ravens went out, it's still Josh Allen.
Yeah.
But what happens if Lamar gets 4,000 passing yards, 1,000 rushing yards, gets 40 passing touchdowns, and the Ravens win their last 3?
It's tough not to give a guy the MVP with those numbers.
It would just be Luda, Chris. Kevin, when I move, you move, buddy.
Just like that.
Just like that, man. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We can go on and on and on about it. I'll tell you what, though, it is it's a fun time of year. We've been waiting for this for a while. But one thing I just want to just knock this one out because all the tape, you know where I'm going right now. Kevin, I don't know if you saw this earlier. I put this in the show notes. Shirts and pants, man. I enjoy Colin Cowherd, even when he's wrong. And in this case, very wrong.
Very wrong.
So, Kev, Colin Cowherd earlier compared Josh Allen to the face of baseball, and he thinks that they're actually very comparable. So I'm not doing it justice. Let's play the clip and we'll react on the other side.
All goes back to Allen. How do you defend him? You watch Buffalo and you think to yourself, that weather now almost is the only thing that can beat him. Like him playing in a blizzard. We are watching the Ohtani of the NFL. He's just different than everybody else.
The coldest places to play in the league, ironically, with good teams, the Bears suck, are Green Bay and Buffalo and the Chiefs. The Chiefs have built themselves into a defensive team and a gritty team. The Packers, they are built offensive weapons. Buffalo they want to play like the greatest show on turf. Look how comfortable they have been these last 2 weeks. It's just hard to do that in the blizzard. I think Mahomes, it looks like he's going to be okay, but how would you not pick Buffalo to represent the AFC if this guy's going to play like this? As long as he's healthy, I would bet on him to win the AFC.
Okay. So the bigger part is, Kevin, you had a very stoic face there when it came to the conversation. So if you guys didn't catch that, Cowherd is describing Josh Allen as the Ohtani of the NFL. Problem with that, Kevin, that's like saying Josh Allen's an all-pro linebacker and he's an all-pro quarterback. There's a discrepancy here. Like, even as great as Lamar Jackson is, he's not an Ohtani. Maybe it's the baseball player in me. I don't think we understand the Ohtani comparison. The dude throws 100 off the mound when he's healthy and is one of the better pitchers in all of baseball. I'd say he's a top 15 pitcher when healthy. Oh, and then by the way, he steals 50 bags and hits 50 home runs. I don't think Josh Allen is going out there and being Roquan Smith on the defensive side of the ball for Buffalo.
No, I mean, I think if you had to say who maybe could be someone like that, that guy won the Heisman on Saturday.
Yeah, literally.
That's Travis Hunter.
That's the best comparison we have, and he's not even a pro yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's incredible.
I think I don't agree with it. I'm with you guys. I don't agree with it, but I'm sure he's saying, oh, the dual threat ability of Josh Allen and Shohei dual threat. It's different. I mean, Shohei's playing both sides of the ball. Again, I think Travis Hunter right now is the best comparison to that. But the thing that got me was like, oh, they're playing like the greatest show on turf. You know, they're going to win I bet on them to win the AFC, whatever it was. Hasn't the Bills defense given up like 10,000 points in the past 2 weeks?
They've given up, I think, it's 90 points in the past 2 weeks.
So Josh has scored 90.
But the defense
has.
Well, which is, if he's Ohtani, that's clearly responsible since he plays defense as well, right?
By that math. By that math.
If you would have said he's like an Aaron Judge right now, without a doubt, I think that's a better comparison to him. The underlying story of this comparison is just, once again, that the mainstream media that you go to for NFL, please never go to them for baseball, because it's like the same thing where ESPN will randomly talk about like the top players and leave guys like Shohei and Judge off just because. Nothing about Josh Allen is like Ohtani, because nothing in sports that we've ever seen is like Shohei Ohtani. That's not even a knock at Josh Allen. Shohei Ohtani is like this freak athlete that we've never seen anyone in sports really do that. Like, you know, if you want to say Josh Allen's Aaron Judge, this, you know, AL MVP, this massive, you know, he's going to go in there and he can intimidate you. He's going to hit 500-foot home runs, all that. Yeah, I think so. But just no one can do what Ohtani does. I don't care. Even Travis Hunter and stuff, like, he's going to have to come into the league and be better than people even expected for him to be Ohtani-esque. He's going to have to win. He would very much have to win offensive and defensive player of the year in the same season to prove, like what you said, Ryan, to compare to an Ohtani who is at times he's looked like a top 3 pitcher. And then it's hard to argue he's not the best hitter in baseball. So, yeah.
Like, this was it. In 2022. In 2022, he had a 2.33 ERA.
Like, that's stupid.
He had a 2.33 ERA pitching.
How many home runs he hit that year?
34.
That's stupid.
And 95 ribbies. Like, literally, that's saying, in this case, because Josh Allen, I'd say with this case, let's go around for fun. Josh Allen would be, I think he's a linebacker, right?
Yeah.
I think he's that. That's like him being a combination of like Ray and maybe like, so who would be another playmaking like linebacker? Fred Warner.
I was going to say he would have to be. I would even say like he would have to be a shutdown corner, like maybe even a pass rusher. Like, I'm trying to think of how can you impact a game as much as a starting pitcher does. It would have to be a edge, like get a bunch of sacks, get, you know, a bunch of tackles for loss. Like, it's.
But you're also you're playing both sides of the ball, so like he'd have to be either a quarterback, or if we're just putting him everywhere, we can say, oh, maybe this like bruising running back or whatever. Like, he'd have to be, you know, the combination of Ray Lewis and I don't even know, Barry Sanders to be like that type of a player.
And even in the Tommy John year when he got hurt in 2023, he had a 3.14 ERA. His worst ERA in a full season is a 3.18 ERA. And to give you guys context, Corbin Burnes right now had like a 2.92 to finish out the year for the Orioles. I think that's what he was at. So that was his worst year, is still one of the best pitchers in the game. And he had 44 jacks in 2023, and he had over 50 last year. Unfortunately, 50th. Love my guy, Big Mike. It was off Big Mike when he was on the Marlins there. But we digress there. But that'd be a cool conversation of like who would be truly a great dual threat player on both sides, you know, in that case. Like, I saw someone say Lamar Jackson as a corner. That'd be intriguing, but please don't. I like our quarterback playing quarterback personally. but it is a fun little exercise here. And Grumpy Moose Gaming, this was from earlier with the MVP. Appreciate you. Also, I'm Grumpy Moose. I like the name, Grumpy Moose Gaming.
Yeah, it's
Just
cool.
declaring a runaway/lockdown MVP winner at the end of every week since week 3 to 4 is such BS by national sports media. A favorite, sure, but enough with they've already won it. Still a race. Could not agree more. Grumpy Moose Gaming. I'd like to also know what gaming you are into.
The moose kind, probably.
The moose kind. The moose got you loose.
Unfortunately,
You know those like arcade, the Hunter arcade games where you go and you do that. Maybe that's what it is.
Ooh, that'd be nice. I'm really
you know what I miss? I miss ESPN Zone. Down.
Dude, yeah, right at the Power or at Hard Rock. Right
Yeah,
by
Hard Rock. Yep.
Man, what a time! A simpler time when we were able to do things like that. I think we covered all. We did a good job covering all of our subjects here.
Such a efficient
show.
Yeah,
fantastic. Should we open up the call line?
Yeah, so I think we do that to see. And I'm assuming a wild Nick Moore's probably not gonna.
Yeah, I mean, Nick was at a doctor's appointment or something like that. He's got to take care of himself. He's a good kid.
He got promoted to captain yesterday. It goes right to his head. He forgets about.
Have we pulled up that picture?
Oh no, I'll do that.
We should, and also add it to the list, Kevin.
Buck Hunter,
man.
Striker.
When's the last time Stackhouse? I'm seeing the last time. It's been a while since I've added a name to this list.
It's phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Oh, actually, here's what. This is a decent conversation because I'm going to do the things I saw on the internet.
Yeah. Is this a good time right now?
Yeah, because I want to talk about this. There's two things that I'm going to have. Both are because of where we didn't have Thursday show. One is from that I was going to do then, but I still want to talk about. And then two is something I saw, I believe, yesterday or Saturday that I just want to debate on this. We have this conversation every single year, and it is by far the dumbest thing ever. Hold up, let me.
Well, welcome, guys, into Zach's. Are we calling it Zach's browsing history?
Yeah,
or just
Zach's browsing history.
Zach's internet history. Which sounds safer?
Yeah.
Neither.
We have got to stop with this. I understand it's the fun hypothetical. The line would be like 50.5, and it might be too low. Like we each year we have this conversation of, ooh, what if the worst NFL team and the best college team played each other? I think it'd be a good game. No, it wouldn't. It would be an absolute slaughter. It would be like when they have Alabama play Mercer randomly in December. Like that would be what it is. A healthy Dexter Lawrence takes out the entire offensive line from the Oregon Ducks. And also just flat out, period, the defensive line for the Giants, when completely healthy, their edges and everything, it's a damn good unit. I don't think Oregon scores, one, and you can put Daniel Jones out there, you can put Tommy DeVito, you can put Danny DeVito out there. I think the Giants still put up like 60 points. We got to stop having this conversation.
I don't think people realize how good you have to be a pro, even on the worst pro teams.
And even like people forget that Oregon is incredible.
They're
absolutely incredible. They might have 13 to 15 guys that will even make it to the point of practice squad in the NFL.
I think that's a great point right there. Like, and I love what Gabriel's doing this year. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Where is he going to be in the NFL? I don't know the projection on where he is, but it's not a name that you're talking about as being the top quarterback. You're hearing Shedeur Sanders is going to be playing at the next level, possibly being the number 1 overall pick.
If they took every player from the draft, meaning every rookie, and create a rookie team, then I think we could keep it within 30 points. But if you went the all-star team of college football, they might be able to keep it like 30, 35 points. There is no way a normal college team that isn't some sort of stacked all-star team competes with any NFL team. It's just, we talk to guys all the time who are top overall picks, and they're like, oh, the adjustment period. You see it all the time. We're like, yeah, it took me 2 years to really adjust to the NFL. Just everything about it.
It's a massive difference. Again, you made a good point. 13 to 15 might be playing in the NFL at some point or practice squad. That's a total of 53 on the active roster.
Who all did that.
Who are already all doing that. And you can say what you want about the Giants with where they are. Yeah, I'd still think I don't even know what would be a fair assessment, Kev. They'd be favored by what? Favored by 21, 28, 35. Or how good as great as Oregon's been, I don't know if they put up a touchdown.
No.
I don't know if they put up a touchdown.
No, not against. Once again, I'll say
it's different than being baseball too. By the way, baseball because a pitcher can dictate everything.
Yeah, you could a single because the whole AAA, could have the Norfolk Tides have beat the Oakland Athletics if they played 10 games. Yeah, I could see the Tides pulling out one of them. Just because that's baseball. You get one or two a guy
for sure.
One player, all of a sudden, you win because your pitcher pitched incredible and you got two solo shots and you win the game there. Okay, yeah, that happens. Football, there's you could play this game 100 times. I don't know if it's within 50 anytime.
I don't think so either. The Fighting Kevin Buck Hunt Strikers.
Yeah, that's what the score would look like at the end, just if you threw me out there and tried to make me tackle Malik Neighbors or something.
That'd be phenomenal. Hey, what's your other thing you found on the internet,
All right,
Zach?
so the other thing I found on the internet, a little bit of backstory in case. Here, so pretty much throughout this year, there's this account, I guess, in Burnerverse, as you would call it, for Twitter. Big Red Game, I believe it is, or Big Red Dave. And he has geography at 9:30 a.m. every Tuesday and Thursday. And every time he gets a geography, a kid would sit in the front of the class and he had a different relic jersey every time. He was just always wearing a different relic jersey. And it got to the point where it got so big and everyone was talking about it online. This kid, by the way, had no clue. This kid who was wearing the jerseys had absolutely no clue that he was kind of going viral every Tuesday and Thursday. They came in for their final day of class this past week, and Fanatics hooked him up with a year's supply of jerseys.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
Hell
sick.
yeah.
So as you see in the back, it says, Jersey Guy, we got you a full year of jerseys. Your fans at Fanatics. He has now been interviewed on countless television stations. He's obviously gone viral. He talks about how pretty much he started collecting jerseys as a kid. He and his dad would do it together. They always loved the old jerseys. He just wears jerseys every single day. It's not something he thinks about. He just loves wearing different jerseys. By the way, this 10 Seattle jersey, I believe, is a throwback 2011 Josh Gordon jersey. So we are talking obscure jerseys.
I was about to say Tim Hasselbeck. No, Tim Hasselbeck was 8.
Yeah. So this is
unbelievable.
Incredible. They hit him. Apparently, Fanatics said that there was a mixture in I think they said they sent like 90 jerseys. There were some mixes of some deep cuts, some throwbacks and some more modern stuff. Like I know there was a Drake London in there, stuff like that. Awesome story. This is at University of Nebraska. And it's really cool when the internet's used for good things. That's what's awesome.
The internet can be used for some fantastic things like that. Thank you, Zach, for sharing. It can be used for some other.
Can we get that guy an Orioles Thiago Vieira jersey?
Yeah, where are the Vieira jerseys?
Where are they? We can do that. Or the internet can be used for different things. Just like there's a video of a guy dressing up as a, Super Mario character dancing in the streets and to some seductive tunes. And I thought that, hey, that's Nick Moore every time you get him a drink and you tell him how great Georgia football is.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would best orchestrate for Nick Moore.
I think what would be content is if Nick would do a live watch party for all the Georgia football playoff games.
I don't know why I thought you were going to say from the sideline of a Ravens game. I was like, I don't think you can.
Well, I mean, that also.
That's not allowed.
They should mic him up for Hard Knocks, though.
If he got mic'd up, we mic up Nick Moore.
You won't be disappointed. Victory captain of the Baltimore Ravens and hopefully future Pro Bowler. Nick's driving back right now. I told him, like, hey, let's be careful. I don't need you to drive. You're not pulling a Tim Kirchin and you're trying to answer the call while you're driving. So,
fun fact, real fast: Pedro Alvarez is one of my favorite all-time Orioles.
That's a fun fact.
This was one of my favorite Kevin and Zach React segments. Is when we named one random Oriole
and then
just during our like random segment, and then right at the beginning we named like, oh, remember all those random Orioles? I think we both named one, and then the entire rest of the show, people were just naming Orioles in the chat. It didn't stop.
2.7 thousand chats that episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
All Orioles.
Just random Orioles.
All Orioles.
Yeah, but real fast, actually, one time went to Orioles spring training. The first year or second year, Pedro Alvarez was with the team, and spring training is just like the wild, wild west. And I was actually walking into the stadium, and I was walking like down and walked next to Pedro Alvarez the entire time as he walked from his car, and then I forget the other not Tyler O'Neill, who was Tyler Wilson.
Oh,
Tyler Wilson was there waiting for his mom to pick him up.
Oh,
yeah. So it literally was after the game. Tyler Wilson was like standing there. And everyone's like, how's it going? He's like, just waiting for my mom to pick me up. He's like, we got to go to dinner. And everyone's like, nice.
That's phenomenal. Love that, man. Love that. I can't wait. Baseball season is right around the corner. We still got a lot we got to dissect from the winter meetings, as well as a lot of our other baseball content. So you guys will see it. So stay tuned for that. But Zach, thank you for taking us on a tour of your browsing history. And why don't we now, we'll head to, for this episode, it'll be our little Stuggies hotline, the Pat and Stuggs hotline. They're open on Uber Eats, by the way, guys. The Freedom Eats and Stuggies hot dogs. You can get that now in Baltimore. Kevin, we know, I don't know if they sell dogs, but I'll ask them if they sell.
It needs to happen. It needs to happen.
You'll eat it in one bite. That's the rule. 19 corn dogs in one bite. Now let's go to our hotline here. Nope, Kevin. That's what we heard. That's what you said.
That's what happened.
Let's go to our hotline here with the more you know with Joe to kick it off. Joe.
Afternoon, gentlemen. How we doing?
How are you?
Doing all right. It's like 70 degrees here today in December. It's really weird.
Oh yeah,
you're making me jealous, man.
I don't understand
35
weather.
and overcast here, or maybe 42.
But first things first, congratulations, Kevin, on 10,000 subscribers.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I'll pull up my Wilt 10,000.
I'll pull it up.
Little sticky note.
You act like you had to go like grab that. You're like, I guess I can go.
Oh no, I have it on deck. I can pull it, man. Because Zach did it for his 100th episode for the Ryan Ripken show, and I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. So
he was ready for that. But Kevin with Locked On Ravens, guys, check it out. Subscribe to that. Like it, subscribe. But Kev, that's awesome, man. Joe's a supporter of the people, man, and of our whole group here. So Joe, appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate
what
you.
Facts do we have today from Arkansas?
All right, we got a couple. I learned today that 380 ghost towns are in Arkansas.
380?
380 ghost towns. There are a total of 3,800 ghost towns in the United States.
Wait, how many in the United States?
3,800.
Wow. And you're saying 380 of those
are
in Arkansas alone. Let me check that math real quickly. Was that 1% of the
1%? Yep.
Yeah.
10.
10%. Wow.
And also, the state snack is fried pickles.
Ooh.
State snack.
Would you like to guess what the Maryland state snack is?
Old Bay. Plain.
Not a snack, no. Good guess, though.
Plain hot dog.
Also, no.
Oh.
It's a sweet. I'll give you that clue.
The lemon stick peppermint thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
No clue.
Burger cookies?
Burger cookies it is. Yes, sir.
Really?
Oh.
All right. The more you know.
Wow, look at that.
Man.
There's a picture in the Discord of all the state snacks I put under the visuals for these facts.
Joe, how the hell are you finding this? First off, okay. I have so many questions. We don't have a lot of time for this, but I have so many questions. The snack, I'm very interested. We should go through that. That actually could be a segment one time. We should go through each snack of each state with you, Joe.
Make me eat every snake stack.
There it is. There it is, Joe. Kevin is going to eat each state's snack.
I'm ready.
I'm all about it.
That's beautiful. And then also, have you gone to any of these ghost towns in Arkansas before we let you go?
I have not. I was listening to Unexplained Arkansas today, and they were talking about it. So I found it interesting.
That is interesting.
Well, Joe, maybe the next time it's The More You Know with Joe live from your favorite ghost town in Arkansas.
They probably don't buy a lot of Red Bull there, so probably not.
Okay,
Yeah,
probably
very,
not.
You know,
if it's ghost towns, I don't think there's a lot of people there. Fun fact, Jamie grew up her house was haunted. We can save that for a different day. Lights came on in the room. She apparently saw a little girl. That's a whole different segment there for a different point. Yeah, casually. All right, Joe, we got a lot of people, but appreciate you. The More You Know with Joe, obviously. Glad to be back seeing you, my friend, and we'll talk to you soon, all right?
Yeah, follow it on Instagram. I'm doing it every day.
Hey, follow Baltimore Joe 82 on Instagram.
Baltimore Joe 82, yeah.
Boom, baby. The
Follow
more
the
you
man.
know. Remember it right there. All right, Joe. Appreciate you, man.
Good.
All right.
Good. Talk about
Good
it.
kid.
Good kid. Who we got next in the chat here?
We got K-Mac.
K-Mac, where is he? There he is. Wow, he's dressed up too.
Gentlemen, yeah. So interesting day today. I had a job interview that was slated and showed up, and then nobody ever showed up to actually talk to me. So I went home. Stuff happens sometimes. A weird day. Zach, I know you're controlling the AV stuff right now. This is as a visual aid to what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to plug my social media as well. If you go to my Twitter at KMax Sports, fun weekend, obviously for a lot of reasons. Big win obviously for the Ravens. But I have some interesting contract news to put out there as far as a personnel move that I made. I got engaged this weekend, so.
Congratulations,
Congratulations.
Yeah, that was Saturday. So that was a great time. But obviously had some bigger fish to fry this weekend than handling the NFL stuff. So
yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Hey man, I'm so happy for you.
Appreciate
And that was me a few months ago, I guess 4 months ago. That's heck, it's handling some of that this weekend, right? Things that I'm learning. You're not the one that needs to be happy all the time, right? It's pleasing the other ones you care about. In all seriousness, though, I'm so happy for you. That's a day for me I won't forget. It sounds like for you. I can still see the smile. You look good too talking about it. Were you nervous though? I gotta know, because what was the play-by-play?
What's the story?
So I'm in large part, I'm not a person that gets super nervous about a lot of stuff. I'm a huge adrenaline junkie, so I like to do a lot of stuff that makes me nervous anyway.
Yeah.
Sweating bullets for a week. I knew I was this has to be perfect. Every part of this is, has to be down to a science. So we went down to see some friends of ours in Richmond. They knew what was coming. They helped coordinate everything. And we went out to a botanical gardens that had a holiday kind of light set up. And popped the question there. So she knew, she had an idea it was coming, but didn't know exactly when and where. So got the chance to hang out with our friends and spend some time together. So that was, it was a really, really good way to spend the lead up to the holidays here. Rip, I feel you though, in terms of it's great that we planned all of this, that this went really well, but the planning is just now getting started. So,
you just wait, man. You just wait. I got to say, I'm not doing all the heavy lifting, but you just wait. But it's going to be an awesome experience. Just my advice, at least being a few months ahead of you, try to relax, just enjoy it. I think it's really cool is you get to each person that we've gotten to see now since. It's been really cool to have them. It's a full circle moment. So I'm sure you're going to be getting all those questions here for the holidays. How'd it go? How'd you feel? But we're so happy for you, man. It's a huge thing. Yeah. Ravens won. Who cares, right? Well, a lot of people care, but we care more that you are happy. You pulled it off, and you look great. Also, by the way, I mean, honestly, maybe that's
maybe
we need a dress. Excuse me.
Maybe
we're talking about dress codes here.
Yeah, Marshall University National Championship. You ever heard of it?
Okay, Mac. You see what I'm dealing with I go away and I come back to this.
Well, you know, ideally, I would have the wardrobe that the Jersey guy from Twitter had. That like I saw a post come up, and I was like, man, it's hard to see somebody else living my dream because I would love to be able to wear an obscure jersey every day.
Mhm.
I've got a few of them stockpiled, but yeah, you know, every now and then I clean up okay.
I was gonna say you look good. You look good. You know, a little bit better than the jerseys. A little bit better. I know Kevin's got a million polos, but he's got to, you know, maybe step it up a bit, Kevin.
Yeah, man, I got Bleacher Report in 15 minutes. I gotta put on the collar shirt. You know.
Yeah. Well, maybe put on a tie. Just look a little bit more.
I feel like Kevin sleeps in polo shirts.
I don't.
He might
That would be taking it too far.
Where he wears them, he wears the shirts and he wears them as bottoms too. It's just polos all the way around.
Kevin,
For those that don't know, because I think we talked about that
on this show, that's what's taking it too far is you sleeping in a polo shirt. After all the wild things we found out about you, that would be.
For those that don't know, I own 70 plus polo shirts. So,
Kevin, are you okay? Like, do you need to talk to somebody?
Yeah, it's. I guess that's my jersey collection. I guess it's just polo shirts.
Okay, so we're gonna have to. Yeah, there's a few things. We're gonna have Kevin try all the snacks of each state, and we're gonna go through his collection of polo shirts. So K-Mac, stay tuned for that. We can talk about. I like the jersey setup that you have, K-Mac, but we'll have Kevin do his on that. But we got to get to the next one. But K-Mac, you look damn good. Congratulations again. So happy for you. And hopefully then an engagement then led to a Ravens victory. Maybe the Ravens just don't lose
the
rest of the way. How about that? And we can go back and look at it. Started with the engagement.
We'll see if we can set the precedent for the era. Kevin, I have this mental image with your outfits that you're not a polo sleeper, but that somewhere you have your outfit laid out like you're going to wear it like on a surface, and you do that every day. Prove me that I'm wrong.
I used to do that back in college. Not anymore. Not anymore. I would play I would say, hey, this is what I'm gonna so in college for class, I would get up literally like 5 minutes before my class started because I was right next to the building. And so I'm like, look, I can't spend all this time thinking about what I'm gonna wear. I mean, I need to get to class on time. So I'm just look, alarm goes off, boom, out of bed, boom. I know the clothes, pick them up, put them on, go to class. So that's why I did it. But now I don't.
You guys know the famous Deion Sanders picture with him with the jersey laid out behind him watching film. That's Kevin with a polo shirt and khakis before every Locked On Ravens episode.
So true.
He's just sitting there watching film. He's got the khakis and polo just laid out.
Yeah, that's me.
I'm learning quite a lot about our team here. All right, K-Mac, appreciate you, man. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, and we'll talk soon. All right.
Appreciate you, boys.
K-Mac, baby.
Hey,
awesome. Man, I should have told him he's screwed now, too. He's just like me. He's just like me. He's screwed. Just kidding.
Wait for him to get off the call to say that.
Yeah, no.
Also, we do have some breaking news. The Chiefs have just released Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I see Steve put it in here, too. Yes.
Whoa, yeah.
Just released Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you are not a Baltimore Raven. But
he should go to Cincinnati solely because he'd be with his friends.
Yeah, LSU.
Yeah, Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow.
If only the Thaddeus Moss era had worked out in Cincinnati.
Yep. Tonight, 8:00, men's national championship.
If you weren't a Thundering Herd fan before, you are now.
It's funny because last time we were in the championship, they didn't know much about Marshall. So the only thing the commentators would talk about was they'd be like, Indiana, when we won the championship against Indiana, they're like, Indiana's the most decorated men's national soccer program in the country. They have 22, all this stuff. Then they'd be like, it's really interesting. Marshall University was out in the lots really early today. And let me just tell you, there's no alcohol left. And I was like, that's really all we're saying. So anytime they'd mention Marshall, it only had to do with how much alcohol was being consumed by fans at the game. They had no other stats on them.
Yep. We are.
Yeah, we are drinking.
Yeah.
Marshall.
All right. I probably have to head out, boys, to go do Bleacher Report. So
all right, Kevin.
I will lay out my polo shirts for the next 3 months in honor of our conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
We look forward to it.
Good. Good.
Kevin,
right.
have fun. Be safe.
Thank you.
Lord help you. All right, Kevin.
All right. Peace out, boys.
See ya. Oh man, you know what? Maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes to the Giants. You know?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he plays quarterback. We could ask the Martins about it. They just had a family feud over it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think
let's bring them on.
We've heard things are going well so far. How are we doing?
Hey guys,
we're doing good. We're doing good.
Yeah, that's the word.
We're doing. Giants are 1 week closer to the number 1 overall pick.
That's how you have to leave it.
One week closer. You could almost say that the Ravens did you a favor. No.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's been rough. It's like there's losing seasons, and then there's like a losing season when you're not as bad as you seem, but then you watch yourself and you're like, wow, we are actually that bad.
Yeah.
Not our defense. It's the one thing, even without Dexter Lawrence and Illuminar's
Banks and
offense, but it's rough.
It's not smooth. It's not easy. The curse of Daniel Jones will continue to grow there. In New York.
I'm one of those people that didn't totally blame Daniel Jones, because it's also hard to be a quarterback when you spend most of your career on the ground because you have no offensive line to protect you. But also, I don't think that Drew Lock or the Italian Meatball, or who was it this time?
Tim Boyle.
You just call him the Italian Meatball?
Oh, I've called him that. I call him the Italian Wonder Bread, the Wonder Doofus. I'm not a Tommy DeVito.
I told you all yesterday that she's not a Tommy DeVito fan.
He's not a quarterback. He's a gimmick.
Yes. Okay. I will. It's fun though.
It's fun.
You know.
It was fun when he won us 3 games last year, or helped us win. It's not fun when we have our second plane over the stadium going, Mr. Mara, fire everybody.
Yeah, that was all over the place. At this
point, if you're going to fire everybody, you might want to reassess Mr. Mara and Mr. Tisch.
Yeah, a little bit hard. It's going to be harder to fire the owner unless he wants to sell it. But we're looking at this and looking at the schedule for the Giants. I mean, what happened? Lost a close game. If I'm looking at all this, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You don't have to count.
6. They have 6 losses by 1 score or less.
The worst part is in 3 of those games, I think it was the Steelers game, one of the Commanders games, and something else, we had scored a touchdown and it got taken away from a stupid penalty. Or
we can relate to that.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
Or our first couple games, Graham Gano had gotten injured. So the first Commanders game we missed like 4 field goals to the point where they just started going for 2-point conversions because
I forgot about that.
That was a great
So at the beginning of the year,
that was
it was the opening kickoff. The kicker got hurt.
He got her on the opening kickoff. They had to keep going for it.
Yeah, that's honestly when I should have known that it was just going to go downhill from there.
The Giants.
Yeah, but I agree with what you say in the fact that it's one thing when you're a fan of a bad team and you go into it and you're like, okay, we're just going to be bad this year, whatever. But then it's the other thing when you see the glimpses and you're like, we're really not that bad. But then when it's all said and done, you're like, damn, it's not looking great.
That's
really
the
might
problem
be
with the Giants is that they do this thing where like they'll score and then they give you hope, and then you get slapped in the face and you remember that you're a Giants fan.
Yeah. And Grumpy Moose Gaming, it's becoming my favorite gaming channel. They were only 21-point touchdown away from the Ravens. Like they were right. They were right there. I will say though, on the other side, I think we can all root for the Ravens moving forward, right? There's no more family dynamics.
Yes.
Are we? How do we feel good about the Ravens? Just moving forward. The one thing I said, luckily we're playing the Giants. Sorry, but 12 penalties for 112 yards still is a little bit. Yeah, I can see it on your face.
It's infuriating.
I, as someone who is just watching as the wife of a Ravens fan, it's incredulous how many penalties there are.
A lot of penalties.
And yesterday wasn't even like you can just blame the refs, they're making bad calls. It was happening.
Y'all did the penalties.
Exactly.
And that's what was infuriating.
What gets me is the look that Harbaugh has. He has the like Eli Manning, look.
Yeah, the thing that's going to be hard though, and when you're playing Pittsburgh, can't get away with that. The roughing the passer, defensive pass interference, consecutive. It was 4 penalties that led to that touchdown drive that led to, I think, automatic first downs too. So, and big chunks. So that's going to be something. But the offense, they look good. But now you got Pittsburgh. Now you got Houston back-to-back weeks. We'll see what happens. It should be fun. We got a few more people before we let you guys go. Any final remarks though, or thoughts as we head into the Steelers game on Saturday?
Yeah, I wanted to ask. I've been pounding the table for Tez Walker to be used, and they finally used him. Do they finally just put him in and like
let him go?
Let him do his thing. Like that, they're clearly not going to use Deontay Johnson because they said like, oh, they're not parting ways. He's still on the team technically, but
they excused him.
Usually, yeah. I think for Tez Walker, it was one of those things where, as a rookie, he had to kind of earn his spot through special teams. That was where he needed to kind of improve to get on the field. And actually, yesterday before his touchdown, his name was called for a very nice special teams tackle. It felt like he's gotten to that point in the Ravens system where they're like, if you're not a first, top pick, we're going to make you learn special teams and then we'll get you involved. So you see him getting involved more on special teams, and you really are starting to see him show up, simply be on the field more. I think that was his 5th offensive snap that he scored the touchdown on of the season. So just getting him on the field more, because he's a deep threat that the Ravens lack right now. I know they love to use Rashad Bateman as that deep threat, but he's his best work in intermediate. And when he has to kind of go off script with Lamar, if they just have a guy that you tell run straight, run past everyone, you got to use him.
The dude's 6'3" and ran 4.3 at the combine. Like,
he's fast.
That's the part, is having a burner that can. We've heard it and we've said it so many times, or it's the saying out there. Having someone that can take the top off the defense, a burner, like that's what he is. Like that is a skill. It's a gift, and it also then forces the defense to have to respect a different element of the game. Rashad Bateman is fantastic at getting open. He's great at picking up first downs. He can make a big chunk play. He can make some contested catches, but he doesn't need to be that role. To your point, Zach, Tez's role, hey man, if you take the wrong step or you make the wrong read and he gets 1-2 steps on you, you're looking at a touchdown. And I think that's the part. And with the Deontay Johnson situation, I think that we might see Tez slowly start to be a little bit more implemented here down the stretch. So we'll see what happens. But guys, appreciate you. We'll be back on Thursday for call-ins. Wednesday, we're doing Hot Stuff Happy Hour. We see you guys Thursday. And then Saturday, we're doing the show as well.
Quite possibly. And I just want to say that I hope my Giants gave the Ravens a great confidence booster for the rest of the season. That's what we were here for. We just wanted to springboard you guys to success.
Yep, people helping people.
Someone in this house needs it.
Hey, someone needs it. People helping people. Hey, we love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Hey, go Giants, whatever rest of the way, and obviously go Ravens.
Go to the draft. Yay.
Yay. All right, guys. See ya. Oh, there are the Martins. And again, we love our call-ins. If you guys are a part of our channel members, appreciate it. We have our call-ins open on the community tab. As we continue on, this is what's great. We like to hear from our community. That's how we continue to build this up here. You guys run this, and it's great to hear what's on your mind. I know someone has some thoughts on their mind. Zach?
Yeah.
Across the pond?
Across the pond. Let's bring up British Raven. Nick,
hey guys.
Oh my! Are you in the spirit of the holidays?
I'm rather colorful today. Yes.
Love it.
What is that, by the way? Like, what are we like? What's the? No, I know, but
it's Christmas jumper.
Love it.
I mean,
absolutely love it.
Hell yeah.
Nick, how are we feeling today?
Christmas is too short. Make the most of it.
Oh, that is electric.
I feel great. I feel great now that I've finally retired from predicting blowouts.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Look, I was up in Maine. I had a hard time trying to tune in, but when you were on, I could hear it as clear as day, and I was going, I swear to God. If Nick says the B word, I'm hopping on a plane to England, and then we're going to do the Oklahoma drill right there to settle this and end this. But, hey, we finally got that then. We finally got the B word in this one. Ravens, it was a comfortable victory. Maybe we learned our lesson, huh?
I believe so, but also I think that I'm going to just keep predicting these close games. It has to be the way.
Has to be. Has to be. Well, I honestly, the line's opening up with the Steelers and Ravens right now at almost 7, 6.5. And I'll tell you what, Zach, you already know. This series, Ravens Steelers, there is no such thing as a blowout game. There isn't in the Ravens Steelers. There isn't. Because anything can happen. It should be a fun one, but hey, like they got a great chance of winning the division now, Nick. Like
Absolutely.
It's back in play. A lot of work yet to be done, but
the Ravens got hot at the right time, or they're getting hot at the right time.
Well, we hope so. We hope so.
Well, no, I talk purely for the defense. They were absolutely abhorrent earlier in the year, and they made the changes. And we're going to face the Steelers now in a better position than we did last time, I feel. So
I agree. Like I think that this is, like you said, the right time. You never want to peak too early. You never want to. We talk about with the Orioles. You know, you got that right time where you want that team to start putting it together, and it genuinely does feel that the Ravens over the past, it's now 4 games, the defense is stepping up. The defense is playing like you want that defense to play, and it hasn't just been. Yes, the Giants obviously are not the cream of the crop, but you did what you were supposed to do. You held them to the points that you were hoping to. If you would have gone in that game, you say you give up 14 points to the Giants, you're sitting there going, yeah, well, you should. Their deep offense isn't got much. Doing what you're supposed to do. You got confidence. Guys like Ardarius Washington getting rewarded for their work, getting the interception yesterday. I'm feeling really good about the defense.
I think you got to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And also, I think it does drive home the point, just for everyone, Philly's defense, to me, might be up there at the top. But also, I think it's a reminder. That's why people think the Ravens can play with anybody, is because offensively, Ollie, that's enough for the toy. It's enough. Thank you.
He's just fired up for the Ravens.
He's fired up for the Ravens. But the Ravens offense is so prolific against any team, except the one that they haven't been able to figure out is against the Pittsburgh defense. Like, that's the one team that they haven't been able to put up all these points. If they were able to play like they have against, really any of the other top teams, Kansas City gives them fits too. Let's be honest. Kansas City gives the Ravens fits, but that's why everyone thinks Baltimore's offense can be a tough matchup. They just got to get over this hump here on Saturday, even the record with the Steelers. And then I think advantage definitely goes Baltimore's way.
I agree, but it's all on this guy.
Yep. All in number 8.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that is incredible.
Where and when did you get that?
I acquired that when Lamar Jackson was starting to negotiate his contract. Yep. I paid a lot less money for it. So,
and I know I know you say the real money you used euros, right?
Actually not. This was a purchase in dollars.
And I know pounds. I heard the whole conversation.
Yes, Rocco
is dumb.
We were welcome.
Yeah.
Everything we can continue to agree on here, but I love the purchase. I love the thought. Do you? Last thing, before we got a couple other people. Do you have another sweater, or where I can buy that?
This was a limited time purchase last year. It didn't fit last year because I was a rather large individual, but thankfully it fits now. Unfortunately not.
Damn it. Well,
it's a nice watch.
It's fantastic. I love it. That's why 'tis the season. I do have a Ravens ugly Christmas sweater. I guess I can wear that leading up to this holiday. Yeah. I'll do that.
Probably an ugly sweater for what's, as much as I hate it's what's going to be probably an ugly game.
It always is.
Yeah, it's not going to be fun.
It's not.
I just put the tweet out though. Justin Tucker kicks a game winner.
Oh man, make it happen.
Mm-hmm. I just feel it. Yeah, especially after last game was so pinned on him. You know, especially versus Boswell. You know, Boswell goes 6 for 6. Tucker has the miscues. It just feels like a Tucker 53-yarder as the clock expires. Send the Ravens into first place. You You just feel it.
It'd move mountains.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure. Well, Nick, appreciate you, man. Appreciate messing up your sleep schedule as always. And we'll talk to you soon. All right.
Appreciate you guys. Take it easy.
Appreciate you, Nick.
Good kid.
Always.
Very good kid.
Always a great time talking to Nick.
Always is. Ollie, before we have our next guest, come on. Can you just, there's so many toys. He's hiding, by the way. Can people see him in the camera? The big show?
No, that's just where Rocco's
also,
eating
what the hell was with the nerds thing on the show? Like when I turned it on, Rocco was just eating freaking nerds.
Rocco, when we had sound issues to start. I
saw that.
Yes. So while we were sitting there before the show trying to figure stuff out, me and Brad are, working to figure out what's happening. Rocco just stands up, walks to the back, and goes, "Well, I'll just grab some of these," and then just came back and probably housed half that bag.
Like, I know, look, I'm not one to judge for any of that. You do what you want. But I'm thinking about it, like, work's happening, and Rocco's just eating this high sugar candy for a guy that doesn't need any more sugar because he already has like that Rocco energy. Yeah. So it's like, holy hell, what are we going to get here? And good. I hope he watches this back, by the way.
Yeah,
But I was just going,
there were
holy
times
shirts and pants, man. Why every time the camera goes to you, you're eating the damn bag?
We would ask him something, and he would literally go, "Well, and he would be putting the nerds in his mouth. And I was like, "Oh my gosh,
ludicrous,
Luda."
All right, I think we got Rick behind.
Yep, we got
scenes.
Rick.
Get Rick on here. Rick.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Great. Happy Monday.
I got more of a question than anything.
Okay.
If we beat the Steelers
Mm-hmm.
and they lose to Kansas City, wishful thinking,
Mm-hmm.
and we end up tied record-wise,
Mm-hmm.
will we lose out because of the loss to the weaker teams like the Raiders?
No. So if the Ravens win on Sunday or Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, and they win out, I believe the Steelers do have to lose to the Chiefs. So this, because of that, will change up the conference rankings because we've lost to, I believe, 3 conference foes. So four, yeah.
And they lost 2. So
yep. So that's why we need to beat them to make it 3, and then the Chiefs beat them, make it 4. And then, so that would get the Ravens. And so, yes, they do need to lose to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Right.
Or the Ravens have to beat Pittsburgh and then beat.
Well, I mean, simple answer is Ravens win out. Steelers obviously would lose to the Ravens because the Ravens win out. And then Steelers lose to either Cincinnati or Kansas City.
Or the Chiefs. But the thing I was going to say the Ravens, the reason why I was going back to it, you're right. It's either or if the Ravens win out. But if they do beat Kansas City, if they lose to if the Ravens have the same record, but that final loss for Pittsburgh is to the Cincinnati, then the Ravens have the better divisional record against the Steelers. So Kansas, yeah, we have more losses in the AFC than they do. So
what I'm thinking is they might beat Cincinnati, the odds are, because they probably already shipped to the end for the year. So we're going to end up tied is what I'm thinking, if we can win in the next 2 and they lose the next 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost a good thing Mahomes might not play this week, because if the Bills win, then he'll have to play, and that game will be meaningful against the Steelers.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't think about
But then we're going to end up with the tied record. But when I was looking at our records, that loss to Oakland, I'm afraid, is going to haunt us, because if we end up tied, then they go to the conference, right?
Yep, that is correct. So you're right, Rick. Because the Ravens have lost to the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Browns, the Eagles, and then the 5th loss was.
Well, there's 4. There's only 4 right now.
Well, the Ravens lost 5. They lost to the Steelers. So it was Steelers, Raiders, Chiefs, and
the one was the Eagles.
So 4 conference losses. Steelers only have 3 at the current moment. They lost to the Colts, the Browns, and
that's it. That's all they've lost in the conference.
Really? So they lost to the because their other 2 losses were 2.
Right. So they end up, if we beat them and then Kansas City beats them, then it's probably going to go to strength of schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that ours is going to be worse because the Oakland lost.
Yeah, I think honestly our best bet here is Ravens win out, Pittsburgh
lose out.
Or they just got to lose to Kansas City or Cincy, because if we win this, we're even record-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Ravens just got to win out.
Yeah, just win, baby, win.
And then Pittsburgh just has to drop one of the two. I do think the weirdest shit happens at Pittsburgh, man. Like it does. And their final two home games or final two games would be at home versus Kansas City and Cincy. I have a weird feeling, though, Cincy would do some weird voodoo in that final game. It's divisional. Not that I have a lot of hope. I'm hoping Kansas City pulls it off. Maybe Carson Wentz actually is good. That's asking.
Well, nonetheless, we're going to either be the 3 seed or the 4 seed probably. So
if the Ravens,
it'll be 3 or 5.
If the Ravens win the division,
you're right, 5.
Yeah, or they'll be 5. In that case, though, they'd play most likely Houston again,
which would not be not the worst draw.
I'd say Houston defensively, though, they're pretty solid. I'm really interested to see how they match up, but that's a team I'm not scared facing.
Yeah, I feel good about that too.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, honestly, though, if you had told me the Ravens would still be in the division hunt after some of these games have gone away, you'd be pretty happy. I just think, Rick, it's fair to say it'd be a hard ask. And I think the Ravens can beat anyone, but to say that in a stretch, hypothetically, where the Ravens have to win every game on the road, I don't think that that's necessarily the recipe we want for success.
No.
The year we went to the Super Bowl with Flacco 12 years ago when it was in New Orleans, which is where it is this year, won that home game. First game at home, then when it upset Denver and then New England, right? So something about getting confidence at home before you have to hit the road.
Yep, and staying healthy. And Philly kind of laid out the blueprint to beat them. You got to run the ball.
Yep.
Like to see them run the ball 20 times and then spread them out and hit them with quick passes. That's how Philly beat them. So
I'm with you. Didn't Philly run the ball 42 times?
Yeah.
Game or something like that. And Saquon missed a chunk of the time, came back and got 19 carries, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. But they kept running the ball. And they stacked the box to stop them, and then they spread them out. That's how they beat them with them quick passes. So,
yeah, and quite frankly, I wonder if George Pickens does play, how 100% is George Pickens?
Yeah, good point.
Hammies are hard.
Because if he's not, if he is a full go, he's a guy you got to take care of. But if he's not a full go, Rick, I don't think there's anyone on Pittsburgh's offense that necessarily puts the fear in the Ravens, but George Pickens would. If he was playing. So
and then is TJ Watt going to play? That's going to be big,
Oh, you bet your ass, Rick. He's going to be out there. I saw a report earlier. Schefter was saying he was walking around. He feels very encouraged. That Tomlin's encouraged that Watt's going to be just fine.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he'll be 100%, but I'm sure he'll be there.
Oh, don't you worry.
Oh yeah,
he'll be there. He's coming to Baltimore before the holidays.
I think it's going to be a little higher scoring than the last time. I think it's going to be one of these 27-24 games or 30-27 games. I don't see this being a no touchdown game for them.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I
still feel like we should beat them though.
Well, Rick, I feel like every time we talk,
I
do, and it's just every year it's Pittsburgh finishes a game where it's always looking back and going, man, how did we get to this point? Well, there's this moment, and Pittsburgh just always seems to come out on top because of it. People can keep saying it's the Ravens beating the Ravens. After a while, it's Pittsburgh knows how to just beat the Ravens because of they don't beat themselves enough. So
we struggle against teams that are really, that have a TJ Watt or a Max Crosby or a game wrecker like that. That put a lot of pressure on Lamar. But that's why we got to run the ball.
Got to run it. Hey, I'll tell you what, Lamar looked good running the ball this past week in New York. I love when Lamar's able to have that element of his game, and it'd be. Derek's been a little bit silent the last, couple weeks here, Rick.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna get him. I really do.
Hey, well, let's hope. We're gonna say a prayer, but I also just believe it's hard to beat it's hard to sweep divisional opponents. But what happens if the Steelers do win the game, division's over. They clinch it in Baltimore the day of, and then the Ravens know their fate ahead of time. If not, it's going to get interesting, and Baltimore will have 10 victories and on the verge of trying to repeat as AFC North champs. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, it would. Well, that would. And I just realized what your shirt was. I thought it was a different shirt that goes by Dilf, but it's not the one.
Baby.
But I love it, Rick. Hey, I appreciate you. Are we going to see you Thursday or Saturday for our other 2 call-in shows? Maybe.
Possibly.
Okay.
I'll try to get on.
Okay. Well, my people can contact your people.
Sounds good.
Here. But Rick, appreciate you, man. Hope you have a great rest of your week. And yeah, I'm hoping Orioles news too. We'll have some things in the works here. So we got some things going. Don't worry. All right.
All right. Always a good time, guys.
Always appreciate you, Rick. Thank you, Rick.
Well,
great kid. Great shirt.
Great
that
hearing
was great. Fantastic.
Yep. Now I go to another good kid.
Got to hear from Mama.
Yep. Got to hear from How we doing?
Doing well, guys. Doing well. I'm going to keep it short because I know we're going over time.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Laura, how we doing?
Good, good. First of all, with all the love in the air, I wanted to very quickly tell my engagement story.
Ooh.
From 22 years ago. Don't you know how long it was? We had gone to Las Vegas for his birthday. His birthday is in March.
Mm-hmm.
Great time to go to Vegas, except that it's very cold in the desert in March.
Yeah.
We went on a helicopter ride over the strip. I didn't know we were getting engaged. We went on a helicopter ride over the strip because his birthday is like the day before St. Patrick's Day. So I'm just like, oh, okay, birthday, St. Patrick's Day, we're going to party.
Right.
So we did that. We went to the House of Blues. He had gotten tickets to the House of Blues because he knew that one of my favorite blues artists, Etta James, God rest her soul, was playing. And she played the song At Last. And I remember whispering to him, oh, because we had been dating for a while.
Right.
Oh, this is a song that I always wanted to have played at our wedding. And he's like, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So then I think the next day we went to dinner at one of these rooftop whatevers in Las Vegas. And he's like, don't you want to go outside and see the view? And I'm like, pretty sure it's cold out there. So he drags me outside to see the view, and I'm freezing because it's windy.
Yeah.
And, he's doing his spiel about love and marriage, whatever, because I really was not paying attention because I was freezing.
Natural.
So he gets down on his one knee, he pops the question, and I say, if I say yes, can we go back inside because I'm freezing? He goes, yes. And I said, yes, let's go. And of course, all the people in the restaurant were watching us and they all were clapping. So that's my
God.
I love it.
I'm cold. Yes. Back in. Well, hey.
Yes. I'll marry you as long as I have warmth.
That is, see, that there it is. It out of necessity. You did it out of necessity, right? That is incredible. I always love hearing those stories, Laura, because it's always the hindsight of it, right? And then the moment of it when you look back and you can laugh your ass off about, oh, okay, it makes sense. And then it's not necessarily always what you think it's going to end up being too, right? So maybe, and also I love hearing the woman's perspective on it. That's where on the other side,
Exactly. You guys get so nervous, and I'm sure he was totally nervous doing it and everything else. But yeah, my perspective was just, I'm freezing. Like, we knew we were going to get married at some point. It just was just a matter of time. Of course, I'm going to say yes. Let's go.
Beautiful.
And that was March of 2002, and we were married by August. So we did the fast track.
Was it 5 months? Yeah, no, I'm a little bit longer in that process here. Be another, less than a year now. But the guys definitely get nervous for sure. And also if you think about it, Zach was 2 years old when your proposal happened. Yeah.
I didn't do the math, but yes, that does check out.
Leave it.
The more you know.
Wow. Okay. Thanks.
Wow. Thanks, Ryan. There we go.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
No, because I give Ryan strays all the time, so now he's giving it back to me by like, "You're old." Thank you.
Whoa. Wow. I thought I was just keeping it light. It was no strays. I didn't do anything. I didn't do shit.
I'm just kidding.
No?
So it's funny because when I was on yesterday with Brad, he's all like, "The beautiful Mama Laura," and my hair was like all over my head, and I'm all like, so today I did my hair.
Looks great.
Thank
Mama's
you.
hair looks great
Also,
today.
congrats on the hundreds on the tests. I saw that above.
Yes, that's the other reason is that, as you all know, I'm in nursing school while I'm still working, and we had finals last week, and this girl got 100s on patho and pharmacology because that's one class combined.
Yeah.
And then there's nursing foundations and health assessment, and I got 100 on that final. So I'm going to get out of my first semester with straight A's.
Oh, flex on. Look at that. Oh
Awesome.
yeah.
Let's go.
Oh yeah. You should be happy with that. That's amazing. I can't remember the last time. Yeah. I cannot remember the last time I had the straight A's. I was a good student. I was when I made it to class in high school. That's a whole different story, though. But I was but it's hard. And I'll tell you what, Laura, I still give you a lot of credit now. I think it's always so hard, even though as we get older, it's even for me when I was finishing up my degree while I was playing or my last year of retiring. And I was like, damn, as the years go by, I'm like, I don't want to do more schooling. You you have your life, you have other things you have to do. And then you're just crushing it. So props to you. Amazing. You're great. You crush it. Hair looks great. The bets, did they work out for you? Okay.
No,
2 or 3. 2 or 3.
It's okay.
2 or 3. Grades. Hair.
Grades hair.
Thank you. And my last thing that we were also joking about in the chat is it going to be Lamar Marino, greatest quarterback that ever played that didn't win the Super Bowl.
Oh, don't say that, Laura. Don't do it. Don't.
Too soon, Laura. It's too soon.
Too soon?
I still have hope.
Oh.
Do we have hope for this season?
Yes.
Okay.
As long as 8 is under center, I like the Ravens' chances. I'm fully committed to it. Every 12 years, it's the 12th year. Ravens
We're here.
That's what we're living on. Living on a vibe.
Yep.
Okay.
And 12 years ago, it was in New Orleans.
Yep, in New Orleans too.
It's in New
All
Orleans.
right. Okay, let's go. Justin Tucker, is he back?
Yes. Hey, you're only his last kick. He made his last 5
He's
kicks.
back.
Okay.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. I honestly, but it's a guy, you ride or die with him. He's done so many things. And the thing that does make me feel good, at least, I know that the real feeling of that Eagles game stung, but also I think people do forget, the Bengals game this year with the wind howling, he drilled that 55-yarder, so he has it in him. Just hopefully, like I said, when the moment arises again, he's ready. But coming out of the bye, great. I'm sure he's going to have some pressure kicks against Pittsburgh, no doubt about it. So we'll see, Laura. But you got to give him the benefit. We'll see.
Okay.
But yes, why not?
All right.
And you know what? Rick was worrying about his hair. Did his hair look good too? He was wearing a hat, but Rick, your hair still look great. Still look great. Fantastic.
We all look great. So how about that?
We look great. And you know what, Steven? Thank you again for your Eagles helping out here. They should have helped out the week before, or 2 weeks before that. But we appreciate that.
Okay, so let me make sure I have this straight before I go. Zach is 24, and Kevin is really 26.
Supposedly,
allegedly,
he tells
he's
us.
Older. Yeah.
And actually, even funnier is me and Kevin's birthdays. Kevin's birthday is 14 days before mine, so he technically turns 27 before I turn 25.
Yeah,
So
I think
I don't believe it.
I also think that it goes back to my theory, Laura, of Kevin could be, a creature that's lived for thousands of years.
Yeah, I can
And
see that.
He
He just
doesn't
hasn't aged.
I think that that's a possibility. I'm not going to
Would
say
not count
vampire.
it out.
I would say people claim that I'm a vampire because I have fangs and I can have some dark circles under my eyes and all that look. But Kevin is some sort of mythical creature. We're just not exactly sure. So
We haven't put our finger on it.
Could be
yet.
26. Could be
like 3,000.
2,000. Yeah, 3,000 years old. Could be.
Okay.
2,600.
Okay. That was it. That's for all my questions for today. I'll save all the baseball stuff for Hot Stove Wednesday.
Yay! It should be good, Laura. Hopefully the Orioles have some news. If they don't, it'll be okay.
We'll talk about it anyway.
People will be mad at one way or another.
Exactly. They'll be mad with who they sign. They'll be mad with who they don't sign.
You know what? I feel also people get mad at me for that.
Yeah, it is your fault.
Because apparently they also think like, oh, tell your dad to spend money. I don't think you guys know how this works.
That's going to say your dad's part owner of the team. I mean, come on.
It's not even like maybe
we
one
can't
day,
find anything out.
Maybe one thing in the future I could try to explain what that like fully means, but like let's just say in this case, like it's the reason why David and Mike Arrighetti are the owners because they're let's just put it this way, the money that was spent up to that amount, that's up there. That's up there. But also like people coming at me, and I feel like the 50 Cent when Floyd Mayweather came out of him, like, what are you saying F me for? Like, I didn't do anything.
Yep.
Don't get mad at me, but it is my fault. Laura, appreciate you.
Appreciate you as always, Laura.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure, guys. Talk to you on Wednesday.
Laura, we'll see you.
See you, Laura. Great. Ollie's now looking.
Also, I just need this up there for the screenshot. Oh, I was putting it on mine.
No, I'm saying no. I'm saying like you're wise. You think you're wise.
That's why I need the screenshot. Boom.
Victoria, what are you creating now?
Thank you.
What are you doing to
wise beyond my years, as I would like to say.
And Victoria also, by the way, thank you.
Oh, yes.
Thank you so much.
Just stand up.
We got a lot. Yes. Get on up. Get on up.
Stand up, baby.
When I move, you move.
Just
like that. Yeah. We got a lot more coming with this baseball season with some guests we have going to move in the future. Maybe a depressed pup in the corner. Ollie, I don't know why you are so sad. I can't see his face. I don't know. Like he's got his toy. He's trying to chew on gravel.
He's just
over
having
here.
a time.
He's just having
a time.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to sink this putt and we're going to get on out of here real quick.
Do it.
What do you think? What if I make this? What happens? Oh. The cameras? Can you see through the cameras?
We'll get the cameras out of the way real fast.
Ollie's trying to eat the golf balls too. Oh, you're good. You can leave the cameras. Oh!
Nothing was broken.
And he also tore up that toy. Like there's a toy. We have debris on the ground. Why, Ollie? Yes, talking about you. Talking about you. Where's the putter?
Welcome back to another. Welcome back to another edition of the Putts in the Studio.
He really tore
currently cleaning up the playing surface.
This is nasty. This is nasty.
We'll see if Rip can step up to the plate. What are you looking for?
I'm picking up the debris.
He's still cleaning up the debris.
Box. Ollie, got your bunny. Oh, there was the bunny. We're getting there. Don't worry.
As we slowly make our way towards the putt. I'm starting to believe he doesn't know where the putter is.
We're ready.
I still don't believe he believes where the putter is. Do you know where the putter is?
What?
Do you know where the putter? Okay, he's got the putter.
Ollie, what do you think? How many putts do you think I make here?
Out of 4 tries? 1. As he lines up. 4 opportunities. 4 opportunities for greatness.
Do you want to go against against me on this, or what are we doing?
Yeah, I can go against you.
What's the bet?
What do you want to bet?
Ollie squats?
Ollie squats? Yeah. We can do Ollie. I don't know. There we go. The first one.
Not so bad.
It wasn't anywhere online. It went straight to the wrong spot. Another opportunity.
No.
We now have some onlookers. Oh, in and out. You absolutely hate to see it.
Ollie destroyed the other one.
It's moments like this where you just have to question what time he'll give up on the game of golf. Just nowhere close. It really is. The frustration in the air is just mounting. It feels like everything he hits is going nowhere close. Number 4. That in?
I mean, is half cross count?
Yeah, we'll give you the half cross. We'll give you the half cross. So the half cross.
Beautiful. 1. Get out of the field of play. Ollie, out of the field of play. Hold it. Make sure the camera's on. All right, we're still on you. All right. You're good. Oh, I got Ollie. All right, first putt. Nice. Stay there. Stay right there. Doing great. Everyone has complete faith in you. 0 for 2. Okay, here we go. The chat's starting to murmur. The chat is starting to murmur. Just tap it in. Just tap it. Ollie. Okay. Easy. Stay. Come here. Hold your tail. Come here. Oh! We're down to the final one. Ollie, don't you go for the ball. Come here. Come here. Hold on. Before you shoot. Laura says it's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. There's the movement. Good. A little tap-tappy. I'll give you one more since I had a halfie. Oh, Steve Perry. Ollie, come here. Ollie, we need Ollie. You're in the way of the shot. You are adorable, though. Here it is. Oh no! No! Yeah, get him, Ollie. Get him. Yeah. You know what? That can count as an Ollie squad. Ollie, get him. Feast on him. This is the end of Zach. Oh, that's actually so adorable. My goodness. Ollie is actually mauling. That's how we teach him. This is Ollie. Yeah, get him. You know what? He hasn't tried to hump another person in a while. Since Kevin. Good kids. Not your best. You don't have to pick him up now. That was well enough. I'll pick him up. Why don't you? Hey, come here, buddy. Come here. It's okay. This is your downfall. And this is what we like to do with the Ryan Ripken Show. And Gridiron Golf, we're going to have them come in and explain all the rules to the game, but we have fun with this. And Ollie obviously is fantastic. He's a good pup. But let me pick up Ollie real quickly. Come here. Ollie,
he's over there.
Ollie, come here. Come on. Come say goodbye. Come say goodbye to the show. Come here. Can you come here? He thinks it's a game, Zach. Come here.
Yeah,
come here.
You know, he's having fun with it.
He is. Come here. No, come here. Oh, there he is. Would you like to?
Oh yeah. Anything you want to say?
Anything else? Would you like to say anything else to the crowd?
Shout out to the 44 people on YouTube still watching this.
Still watching this. You're such a good boy. Oh, good yawn. Good yawn. You got your paws up there. Hey, put your paw in the air. Put your paw in the air if you... never mind. No comment. Not going to say what I was going to say. All right, Zach, let's cue the music. Cue it.
It's saying it's cute. Can you
do bounce, 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 bounce. As always, here on the Ryan Ripken Show, we appreciate each and every one of you. Have a day, have a night. We'll see you for the happy hour hot stove on Wednesday, and then back at it on Thursday for another episode of the Ryan Ripken Show. You guys enjoy the rest of your Monday night.